because
of game,
how
man.
big tonight's game is. Name me the last regular season game that was as big as this one.
You're talking about the final days of the 2010 regular season.
Yeah,
that's the last time.
I don't want to say 2022.
They're 20 games out, right?
They were important, but they clinched with I think a couple games remaining. Maybe a week left.
No, they did. Plus, the division had been decided in July.
Yeah, the division was over at that point in time. But
it's the biggest regular season games they played since 2010. That's accurate.
Rojas on the ground at third. Machado touches third, fires to second. Out at first. Oh my goodness! It's a triple play. It ends the ball game. The San Diego Padres have clinched their spot in the postseason after a magical 2024 campaign. Will this finally be the year for the faithful? A triple play to end the game and send the Padres to the postseason. It doesn't get any better than that.
Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim. The Padres are in, but they're not done yet. Still a chance to win this division. Still a chance to do damage in October, like Don Rosillo just told you. Pure just joy in his voice. Who would have ever imagined the possibility of clinching in the manner in which they clinched? A triple play. A triple play. It's still remarkable nearly 24 hours later. We'd love to hear from you. I mean, is this going to be the year? How do you feel about this team heading into the postseason? 877-767-4760. 877-767-4760. Jon and Jim with you for the next 3 hours. Friend of the show, Darnay Tripp at 4:30. Dan Zimborski at 4. Marty Caswell once again will join us. Is that right? At 3:30 this afternoon or no?
She told me if she isn't sleeping, she'll pick up the phone.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we're a huge priority for Marty, who was in L.A. last night.
Yes.
She caught up with everyone, including A.J. Preller. We'll hear from A.J. Preller coming up momentarily. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. It's way better to win your way in. You'll take it either way. They've had an amazing second half. It's way better to win your way in. I thought they could win the game. I didn't think they'd win it in the manner in which they did. A triple play to win it was outside the realm of possibilities for me. And then and then we talked about this a lot last night. It then puts you in this realm of like, this is just special and unique and different, and something is working here that doesn't typically work in the advantage of the Padres historically. And what happened last night gives you hope for the next month, hopefully the next month or more for the San Diego Padres.
First off, job's not finished.
Right.
There's still 5 games remaining. They're 2 back of the Dodgers with 2 left here at Dodger Stadium. That's the first thing. But, oh my God, I wasn't even thinking in the moment. And by the way, credit to Jesse Agler, by the way, for like thinking about it and talking about it, because he might be the only person that did that. Because I guarantee you, not a lot of people, maybe everybody else, didn't think, oh yeah, they could just hit a triple play here. Like, no, the way that game ended with Ohtani on deck, Suarez is leaking oil. I mean, this thing feels at minimum, this is going to extras.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely, the worst case, Ohtani's going to hit a walk-off.
Right.
And then they're going to clinch, and it's going to, tomorrow or today or tomorrow, whatever.
Division's over.
Yeah, division's over.
Not going to celebrate because you wouldn't have clinched otherwise because of the results around baseball.
You have a massive closer problem, even though you still do have a massive closer problem. But still, the way that game ended, I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
I don't think anyone has.
I mean, watching sports for as long as I have, I've never seen an ending holy bleep to a game ever like that in baseball, to where I'm like, wait, a triple play to not only have happened, but to end the game.
It's almost like poetic. I mean, at Dodger Stadium with Shohei Ohtani in the on-deck circle. And like you said, I mean, the beauty of baseball, and I think the beauty of sports, and the reason I think a lot of us love them, and a lot of people are watching or listening right now, is you don't know. I didn't know in 2022 the Padres were beating the Dodgers in the postseason. We still watched, and it happened. I didn't know last night the Padres would win in that manner. Nobody did. It was insanity. I think, and when you hear the voices, and we will throughout the course of the next 3 hours, and you hear from Manny Machado talking about Peter Seidler looking over the franchise, when you hear from A.J. Preller, talking about Peter Seidler had to be there for that moment. How could you think anything else? I mean, they turn a triple play on average every quarter century, and they turn a triple play in a clincher for the first time in baseball history. Baseball's been played for 150 years. We went through the math on this. I think there have been 9 triple plays in the history of baseball to end a game. 9 in the history of baseball to end a game is the first ever in a clincher. This is a 1 in 100,000 moment that they walked into last night, and then the celebration, and then knowing that, to your point, the job really isn't finished. And like, when you think about tonight, like, we thought last night was big, and it was. Tonight's doubly as big with Dylan Cease on the mound. You win again. You win one more game, and all of a sudden, like, you might have the inside track. If you win one more game, you're one back with 4 to play, and you've got that third and final game against the LA Dodgers. So everything is in front of them. They don't have to win the division, but they're in a position right now, Jim, where they can win the division, and I won't put it past them based on how they're playing.
And like, last night's game was the most important, because if they didn't win it, then tonight wouldn't feel as important. So you win last night, and to your point, then it rolls into today, where now this becomes doubly important for your chances to win the NL West title. And if you win tonight, then Thursday, you have a chance to go into a weekend tied with the Dodgers and also hold the tiebreaker against them, which you have accomplished before the series even started.
So the inside track. If they win the next 2 games, they have the inside track to win the West.
Exactly. But like, to your point, how this team has been operating this year, you know, with the offseason that was, with the passing of Peter Seidler, and then after that, every single move that followed has worked. Hiring Mike Schilt, trading Juan Soto and getting the pieces back for Juan Soto, signing Jurickson Profar, getting Dylan Cease, Arise, Peralta, Solano, the trade deadline.
One after the next.
Every single move has worked, and you couldn't help but think, honestly, after they turned that triple play, that Peter's looking down on this team and he's with them, and, you know, the baseball gods. That's like, I believe in that type of stuff, like fate. I believe in, you know, people looking down on you and all that. Like, that really felt like a moment last night. Like, whoa, okay, something that's like doesn't happen ever. The percentages of it happening are so tiny.
We literally did the math on it. 0.00003,
and it happened last night.
Occurring.
And then you hear Mike Schilt post game. Brent, do we have that? So you hear Mike Schilt post game talking with Scan, and this is what Schilt had to say about that triple play.
Peter Seidler looking down with pride right now, Mike?
Yeah, you know, I thought about it almost immediately after the triple play. I'm like, man, that's got Peter written all over it. And I know he's got a twinkle in his eye, but I also know he'd be the first to say we're not done.
Yeah, they're special. They are really good, by the way. They're not just special. They're really, really, really good. And the stat that you were talking about of like things that this team has done that no other team in baseball has done, listen to this. So in baseball history, there have been over 700 triple plays turned, like just in total, not to end games. Over 300 no-hitters, over 300 sets of back-to-back-to-back home runs, over 100 comeback wins of 8+ runs or more. There's only been one team in the history of the sport to do all 4 of those things in one single season, and that is the 2024 San Diego Padres. It's crazy.
But put it this way. It'll always be remembered by Padres fans, because this isn't the New York Yankees. There's not 27 titles. This will always be remembered as an amazing regular season. No one can ever take this regular season away from Padres fans. But the line of differentiation from any other season is going to be what they do in the postseason. We can always say it was a great regular season. I'll never take it away from them. If they lose in the wild card, I'm not going to say disappointment. You're not going to hear that from me. I'm going to say it's disappointing,
yes,
but it's not a disappointing season. And we have all these hopes and dreams, so you don't want to see it happen. But to clearly separate themselves, they now need to do what they've done next month. Starting when the calendar flips, they need to keep doing it next month. Because while in San Diego, we'll always remember this team as a special team, for this to be a truly memorable team that has a place in baseball lore, you're going to have to really win in October. And then you could argue if they have to win a World Series. I think we'd all be disappointed if they don't make a World Series based on how they're playing. But go get to a World Series and see if you can do something that has never been done in this city. So we want to hear from Padres fans. 877-767-4760. Is this the year, based on last night, based on Mike Schilt, based on what A.J. Preller is saying after the untimely passing of Peter Seidler? Is this the year? 877-767-4760. Let's start with our buddy Mark from Poway, who's on with Jon and Jim. Mark, appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for calling in.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on. I tell you what, Joe Davis, let's think about Joe Davis was the one who basically put the nail on the head, because last night he made a comment right before the triple play. He said, it's not a question whether Ohtani comes up to play, it's how many guys are going to be on the bases when he does. So thank you, Joe Davis, for jinxing the Dodgers. I look forward to a great start by Dylan Cease tonight, and let's take this serious.
Mark, appreciate you. Yeah, it's amazing because, to your point, Jesse Agler said, best case scenario, and it was almost like tongue-in-cheek, facetious triple play. I mean, the first pitch actually to Rojas, you square to bunt. Right. So initially he was actually content with moving the runners, which makes sense for Ohtani. But the fact that he said it is amazing. And then I'm with Joe Davis. Honestly, if I'm calling that game,
I'm not even thinking about it.
I would be like, well, Ohtani's going to bat in this inning.
I'm not even thinking about the possibility of them turning a triple play. The odds of it happening are, as we said, they're so minute and so low.
I don't know if Manny's ever turned one.
He said he did turn one.
Okay,
before.
so it's the second. So it's the second one he's turned.
Yeah,
I was going to say, of all players to turn one, it's going to start at third a lot.
Yes,
and he's got that quick trigger to begin a triple play.
Yeah,
that it makes sense. It would be Manny, but
the only other like, I mean, by the way, that was an easy triple. I'm not like easy that the play was easy. I'm talking about the runners were out. Like there was no
it's all because of
bang.
And Manny, to his credit, never hesitates. He's always so fluid. He knows the circumstances so well. He never pauses. He never flinches. If you flinch there, you don't get the out at second, or you don't get the out at first even.
And Crony had just a great turn.
It was a good turn. Yeah.
There was a video of Manny, just like a single shot on Manny during that triple play. And he was in on the grass. And the second he gets the ball, like you're right, no hesitation.
Yeah, that's the key.
Turns to third, whips it to Crone, and then Cronenworth, a perfect relay over to Solano. Rojas is out by well over a foot.
He's out by a step.
It's not even close at first, even though Dave Roberts threw a Hail Mary challenge.
Well, that was for second. He challenged the plate second.
Still, I think they were both out by a good amount. Like
second was the closer of the two play. And I think watching the plate second live, I thought maybe
it just was an amazing play by Manny, and the presence of mind to do that and have it be turned the way it did and end that game. It's got to be up there. I mean, we're talking about moments of the season. Like, how is that not right now at this moment in time? There's a lot of time left with the postseason, but at this moment in time,
it's the moment of the year.
You're like, that's the moment of the year.
Of course it is, because of the circumstance. This isn't coming back from 8-0 down against the Cubs, because against the Cubs it was April. I think that puts you in a position where you believed you could come back all season long, and they have. But that game, if it was played in 2023, they lose, because I watched that play out. In fact, most games they've played in the history of Dodger Stadium, with that playing out like that, 3 straight hits to start an inning, you're about to get walked off. Like, that's going to play out 60, 70, 80% of the time. The fact that it didn't play out last night leads you to believe that something might be special with this team. We'll hear from A.J. Preller on the other side, inside the clubhouse with Marty Caswell. Speaking of Marty, if she's awake, she will grace us with her presence at 3:30. Dan Zimborski from Fangraph says the numbers for us. What kind of chances do the Padres have in the postseason? He'll join us at 4 p.m. Friend of the show, Darnay Tripp, will join us at 4:30. We have great giveaways as well. Padres are in the postseason. Can they win the NL West? It's Jon and Jim. All right, Marty Caswell. If she's awake at 3:30, Dan Zimborski, Fangraphs at 4 p.m., Darnay Tripp, NBC 7 at 4:30. San Diego Sports 760 and iHeartRadio brings you the Global Citizen Festival 2024 from New York City, Central Park's Great Lawn. Live performances from Post Malone, Doja Cat, Jelly Roll, Benson Boone, and more, all hosted by Wolverine himself, Jim Harbaugh. Join the movement to end extreme poverty now, one action at a time at globalcitizenfestival.com.
Are you still in like kind of shock about how that game ended last night? Like I woke up this morning and I'm like, wait, hold on. Triple play?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely was shocking. The one thing I would say about baseball that to me doesn't happen as much in football or the NBA, the primary sports, the big three that we typically talk about, is that baseball will present the oddest things.
Yeah.
Football, we've all seen Hail Marys.
Right.
We've all seen kick return touchdowns.
Yeah.
I've seen the Minnesota Miracle. I mean, there have been some amazing moments, 4th and 26s, things like that. But there's something about baseball where, like, there are truly like a billion combinations of events.
Mm-hmm.
Game-ending triple plays. I mean, I guess Game 7 of the World Series would be more bizarre, but like that was never in my realm of I could put my head on my pillow every night of my life for 100 years and never even dream of a game to end like that. So that alone is what to me separates baseball from like what's going to happen in basketball. Guys can hit a three-pointer. Yeah, I've seen it. What happens in baseball is like a myriad of possibilities.
Like we were talking about this during the breaks yesterday on the show, like, all right, give me the craziest scenario that could happen to end tonight's game, because we were rooting hard for a win. Like to get last night's game was so crucial and important to their quest to potentially win an NL West.
Sure.
And last night's game was the key. So you had to win last night to move on to today and so forth and so forth. We're like, what would be the craziest scenario? And I'll be honest with you. Like, yeah, I never in a million years feel like I would have said or come up with the scenario of, so ninth inning, no outs. Robert Suarez is leaking, 2 on, no out. Ohtani's on the on-deck circle, and they're going to end the game on a triple play. I never would have.
I mean, it's not even like there's a million things I'd come up with first. And honestly, what it did was take away from what should be the conversation today, even though it's maybe for tomorrow because you're celebrating what has happened. Mm-hmm. But like if I'm looking at the forest through the trees, I got big concerns with Robert Suarez. If he's my primary closer in the postseason, you've watched him since the 1st of August, to me, it's hard to envision winning a World Series with this guy out there 10 or 15 times in a close game. Now, they have options in their bullpen that I think can close down close games. Jason Adam, Tanner Scott, Jeremiah Estrada. If Robert Suarez is going to be, quote-unquote, trusted with that role, and he's got to be perfect in that role in the postseason,
John, it's fine.
I'm really concerned.
He's just going to
triple
plays every time. It's fine. That's like it's
easy.
Clean. It's easy. It's just boom. How you doing?
Every single
triple
time.
Play.
All right. I want to hear from AJ Preller. Marty Caswell is supposed to join us in about 7 or 8 minutes if she's awake. She was at Dodger Stadium last night, driving back and forth. If she's awake, she'll join us in 7 or 8 minutes. She was on the show yesterday, so I feel like she's good luck. But this was Marty and her wet Samsung phone that she said would never get waterlogged, but it got waterlogged.
Because what happened, Marty? It's the phone is just.
There's some funny photos. Someone I saw some photos of Marty where it's like,
Marty's hilarious.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But here was AJ Preller, Padres GM, with Marty Caswell from the clubhouse.
What does this moment feel like to be back in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's what we do it for. So obviously so proud of this team, the organization, and the fans, San Diego. They deserve it. 3 times in 5 years. We had a great run 2 years ago. Looking forward to a big one now.
What are you thinking in the 9th inning with the runners on and Ohtani beyond deck circle? What's going through your mind at that moment?
I kind of thought a triple play and we had this thing and whatnot. So here we go. I was kind of predicting that in the state now. Obviously, that's Manny Machado. Like he's a baseball genius. He's from the time he's been in high school to the Orioles to obviously here what we've seen in San Diego. He's a genius defensively. It's for a reason to start that triple play in that moment as good as it gets.
I know the playoffs are always special no matter when you get in there. But you guys wanted to honor Peter Seidler this year. What does it mean to do that and to remember him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything that's gone on. Watch that leg. Watch that leg. Obviously, Peter, as good a boss as you could ever have. Everybody in this room loves Peter Seidler. We've been doing it for him from day one. The Seidler family. He'd be so happy and proud of us. I think about him every day, and I know he's looking down at us in that moment. He probably is the one that directed that ball to Manny. So I think about Peter all the time. Unbelievable moment.
Really good line of questioning from Marty and really good answers from AJ Preller.
Yeah, man. It's just sometimes the baseball gods and the fate and stuff. It's just, it feels like this team, it would be criminal if they weren't immortalized and win a World Series.
But that's the part of it.
I know.
So hard. It's
Trust me, I know.
Can San Diego overcome San Diego to win for San Diego?
If there were any year to do it, it feels like it's this year.
Stay tuned. Real quick, Marty's going to join us in a handful of minutes. Let's get to Dave real quick on line 1, 877-767-4760. Dave, thanks for calling in. You're back on with Jon and Jim.
Yeah, thanks, man. Definitely magical time. And as you know, I can take it back to 1969 when the Houston Astros first showed up here, first series ever. And so, we that have been here since then or been alive have experienced the high highs, the low lows, the despair, the absolute elation. We're now enjoying another period of elation, and it's like being on that great big surfing wave over in Hawaii, North Beach, and you just ride this sucker for as long as you can because you don't know when this thing's going to come crashing in. You just hope that you can just keep that board rolling, and that's what we got to do at this point is just enjoy the hell out of this because we don't know what the next days are going to bring. We hope for the best. We hope for that World Series. We hope for that parade down Harbor Drive. But in the meantime, man, this is one hell of a fun trip. And it's like you said, John, who would have ever thought a triple play? I mean, of all the things that you look at in the world of sports, baseball, as you said, delivers the most craziest things at the most craziest times that you would ever or never expect. So let's just dig it for what it is and go forward, have fun. We'll talk about Suarez another day, but in the meantime, just roll and have fun.
Appreciate it, Dave. Yeah, there's something about the fact that it's untimed. I mean, they put the pitch clock in, but you do need the 27 outs. Therefore, it creates just weird circumstances that play out. And nobody would have predicted it, but that's how it played out last night. All right, we'll check in with Marty. If she's awake, she'll join us on the other side. We're with you until 6 p.m. reacting to the Padres in the postseason. Can they win this division? It's in front of them. They control their own destiny. They're looking to make it 2 straight tonight in L.A. with Dylan Cease on the mound. Marty Caswell from San Diego Sports 760 next on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it's Jon and Jim. This is an incredible time to get out to Jamul Casino with the baseball playoffs less than a week away and the NFL season underway. Get to Jamul Casino this baseball postseason and football season. In fact, every Monday in September during football season, you've got a chance to win big with Monday Night Live $100,000 Punch-Out.
Yeah, John, with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m., your odds are better than ever. Plus, you can earn entries all month long by playing and getting 2-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $100,000 in cash.
Tony Gwynn Sports Pub has great food and is a great spot to watch the baseball postseason, including the Padres this October. Plus, Jamul Casino is endless dining 5 nights a week. You'll love it. Their endless dining options include Saturday surf and turf buffet. They've gone over the top. You need to see it. Succulent steaks, delectable seafood, and more.
Yeah, get to Jamul Casino all football season long, including every Monday night for Monday Night Live $100,000 Punch-Out. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else. All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, they've officially clinched a playoff spot with their win last night over the Dodgers. Their third time going to the postseason in the last 5 years. First time that they've done that in franchise history. They're just now 2 games back of the Dodgers in the NL West with 5 games to play. Game 2 tonight up at Chavez Ravine, 7:10 first pitch. Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Dodgers against Dylan Cease for the Padres. Other playoff scenarios around baseball that concern the Padres. They won't have a chance to clinch home field tonight because the Mets-Braves game has been postponed. Today's game and most likely tomorrow's game, where they'll end up probably playing a doubleheader on Monday, a day before the postseason starts, if there is postseason implications for both of those teams. And this update's been brought to you by Staples.
Jon and Jim and Marty rolls on. It's the new name of the show. She's joined us each of the last 2 days. She was at Dodger Stadium, lifelong Padres fan. Therefore, one of the more remarkable endings in baseball history, a triple play to clinch a postseason spot. So, first of all, Marty, always appreciate it. I want to know, where were you for the triple play? Like, are you already making your way in a clubhouse area in the night, or where are you for the triple play? And where does last night rank for you as a San Diego sports fan?
What's up, John?
What's up,
Jim?
Hello.
Don't worry
You're
about
awake.
Jim.
What was the question again? Where was
Yeah,
I?
like,
Okay,
where
I
does
was in
last
the-
night? I mean, you've had some great. Where does last night rank for you, and where were you for the triple play?
I was in the press box.
Okay.
It's one of the most surreal moments in. I'm going to tell you this right now in San Diego sports history. We're going to see that where this playoff run ends, and that the longer they go, right, the bigger that moment, that play is going to be. But it's one of the biggest. It was a stunning moment. I mean, I was in the press box. I was wrapping up my camera with a waterproof plastic bag from Disneyland, right? And I had a nice hair scrunchie I was using to secure it. And there was like silence. I mean, there was silence in Dodger Stadium, and there was momentary silence in the press box because I was checking to make sure. Wait a second, how many outs? What just happened? And it was just a little bit surreal. And then, of course, they have the replay. But I was in the press box because I want to go ahead and film that moment just in case they celebrate in the field, and you want to have that celebration before you go downstairs in the throng of masses. But no, that was insane. Wow.
And this season has been incredible. Like, the second half has been a second half that we've never seen with this Padres team.
Historic for him.
Seeing that triple play last night, Marty, like, you just feel like, okay, this is special. Something's going on here. I mean, this destiny, right?
It really does. It feels like it. Yeah, think about you guys. We have spent so much time during the off season, right, discussing what went wrong, and we talked about Juan Soto this and Juan Soto that, and blah blah blah, and he didn't have these moments. I can't think of a single signature moment from last year or a signature win. The very final game of the regular season at Petco Park, they did a top 10 moments for the Padres season. There were so many I had forgotten about some of these, right? Yeah. And you have a moment like that. Like, every great playoff team, they have like a moment. I'm like thinking like the 98 Padres that went to the World Series, and they had like all these signature moments. It was like Steve Finley or Ken Caminiti with these massive, multi-home run games against the Giants. They had several moments. And the Padres have so many. You have something like that, a game-ending triple play. Holy smokes, for the best player in baseball, who was part of a walk-off win for the Dodgers the day before, and you have that happen, and you don't give them the opportunity. I mean, you start thinking that maybe this is their year. How do you not think that?
It's interesting you say that. Marty Caswell with us right now, Jon and Jim. Everything is going perfectly. The only part of it, and maybe today's not the day for it, because today's a celebratory day, and they could still win this division.
Suarez.
Yeah, and they got great options in their bullpen. Yeah, but like, how concerned are you, if at all, based on what's playing out here with Robert Suarez over the last few weeks?
You have to be very concerned, because I don't think that if you're Mike Schultz or Ruben Niebla, that you're counting on an ending triple play to get him out of any future trouble. He hasn't had many clean innings in his last couple of starts. Got to a point yesterday, I'm going through the score chart and trying to figure out who's coming up in the 8th inning, who's coming from the 7th, and we were wondering, who is Mike Schultz going to bring in a higher leverage situation? Who is he going to bring up to go ahead and pitch? Should Ohtani come up? And of course, Tanner Scott pitched earlier, but I would be shocked, honestly, in a playoff game if he continues to go with Robert Suarez, because it hasn't been a good month, a good second half for him. And they have other options. It's not like Robert Suarez is their only guy. They have a very stacked bullpen, and they've got to figure this thing out. But I'd be surprised, guys, if it were Suarez going forward.
Yeah. So you've been in clubhouses forever.
Yeah.
And you've been in celebration clubhouses for, football and baseball. What was like the vibe last night? Did it feel different to you?
That was the craziest celebration I've ever been a part of. And I really listened. I thought, okay, maybe, it's just going to be like a quick celebration, then whatever, because, they have a chance at the National League. And if they get that in the West, they'll celebrate again. Because, I was in the one a couple of years ago. And that one was fun. That one was crazy. The dance party, Juan Soto going nuts and Manny, and it was huge, right? There was nothing like this one. And part of it was it's at Dodger Stadium. So if you want to trash a clubhouse, maybe you don't want to go ahead and trash your own clubhouse at Petco Park, right? You don't want your guys to clean it up. They trashed the living hell out of Dodger Stadium, out of that clubhouse. I mean, I had these new sneakers I finally bought, right? And they are soaked. They're ruined. It was like we had like beer and champagne up to my ankles. That place was destroyed. And there was also a difference too. Fernando Tatis Jr. was in this post-game celebration, and he wasn't in the one a couple of years ago, right? Because he was suspended, and it's a different vibe, and it was a different energy with this group, right? It just felt different. I've been part of previous ones at Petco Park, in the early 2000s when they won the West, twice under Bruce Bochy, but this one, man, it was crazy. And I also wonder, because part of it was symbolic. It was at Dodger Stadium, right? And the Dodgers are a playoff team, but it's obvious. It is obvious from anyone who's paid attention this year, watched yesterday's game. The Dodgers are on life support. The Padres, their fans, they smell blood in the water. And you saw how lifeless and lackluster it was at Dodger Stadium last night. I'm not even sure if the TV picked it up, man, but it's just a different vibe, because I think the Padres know they have a real chance at reaching the World Series. That's just my interpretation.
I think you feel the same way a lot of Padres fans feel right now. I think a lot of people that cover the sport feel right now. So first of all, you've posted amazing content and coverage at Marty Time TV. So if you want all of the reaction from post-game last night, find Marty on YouTube.
You're like
Marty
yelling
Time.
At people.
I mean, you did some incredible work, Marty. I'm serious, because I've watched it all.
Thanks.
Your conversation with AJ Caswell, AJ Preller. I mean, there's been so many highs and lows in his tenure. I mean, I just remember some of the conversations Darren had with him on San Diego Sports 760. Some of your interactions with him. I go back to, he told you 3 weeks before Jace Tingler was fired, he's a 10-year manager. I mean, there's just been so many highs and lows. What was it like last night? I mean, I could kind of hear it in AJ's voice that like this is a special time for him, and he's pulled all the right strings this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was. He really has. I think if you were to ask him, this is, easily, and they had to get there first. I mean, they were the NLCS a couple of years ago. This has to be the most rewarding year of his entire tenure, because they're a better team. This is his best roster. It's most complete roster. They cut a ton of payroll in the offseason, and lo and behold, here they are. Eric Katsenda did not quite give him the vote of confidence that Peter Seidler would have given him in spring training like he did every single year. He's like, man, it's a prove it here for everybody, and AJ Preller has proved it with a much lower payroll and just a better team. And I'm so glad that you got to watch that video, because AJ Preller told me a story a couple months ago, right? Because you guys know he loves to go ahead and play basketball.
Oh yeah.
Well, he has been playing basketball for a while, because he tore his plantar. He has plantar fasciitis. He tore his fascia right before the deadline. He tore it right before playing basketball. And I'm like, wait a second, is that why you went on a bender with your trades? I mean, you had one of your best trade deadlines of all time. But he told me I couldn't tell that story. So yesterday in pregame, I said, listen, if you guys clinch, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, you need to tell me the story about rupturing your fascia by playing basketball, and that's why maybe you had the best trade deadline of your entire Padres career. So it was going to be a more thoughtful conversation. But if you guys watch the video, he was doused by both Tatis and Manny Machado, and that was cool because in the previous celebrations, AJ was kind of in the corner with his people. He wasn't really part of it. It was great to see him interact with players like that. That was a really, really cool moment.
Yeah, the group is just such a close-knit group. It feels like more than any Padres team in a long time, how close they really are. And in that clubhouse, Marty, who was the wildest Padre that you can remember last night?
Oh, Tatis.
Tatis.
Oh, wait, and Tyler Wade.
Tyler Wade?
Tyler Wade's that dude, man. Tyler Wade's in the middle of everything. You always have that one glue guy in your clubhouse, and it's not necessarily going to be your best player or your biggest star. Tyler Wade seems to always be in the middle of everything.
Love
So
me some
that
Tyler
was him.
Wade.
What about
And Jackson Merrill, Jackson Merrill's living life. He's loving it too.
was Nick Ahmed there?
Yes.
he's been a part of like one win. Was he part of the?
I'm not even sure what he looks like.
Hey, either do I.
I don't
That's what
either.
makes it so hard. Marty, great job. Get some rest.
Thanks.
We'll see if they can complete this NL West crown at some point over the next handful of days. And we appreciate you you hopping on. Great job last night.
Put your phone in rice, okay?
Oh, hey, my phone's great. My phone is fine. As I told you, it's waterproof. It's available under 12 feet of water, which is exactly how much champagne it was buried under yesterday. So,
Yeah.
by the way, I reek. I took a shower when I got home like at 2:30 in the morning.
Take another
and I
one.
still smell like stale beer.
Oh my!
Take another
gosh.
one.
Marty,
Okay.
great job with the coverage. We'll catch
Thanks,
up.
Marty.
We'll catch up next week with you.
Yeah.
Marty Caswell, San Diego Sports 760. All right. We'll react. We're going to hear from Manny Machado on the other side. We do want to hear from you. Dan Zimborski from Fangraphs will join us at 4 p.m. What do the numbers suggest on the Padres' chances of making a run in the postseason? We all think they can. What do the numbers suggest? Dan Zimborski will join us at 4. Darnay Tripp, NBC 7, friend of the show, at 4:30. We've got Green Day tickets to give away, but we'll hear from Manny Machado coming up next on Jon and Jim. All right, it's us again, Jon and Jim. You know it's the best time of the year. Baseball postseason is less than a week away. NFL, college football, making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. And with Underdog, you can win 325 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats.
Yeah, John, just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. And Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. This weekend in the NFL, got a gimme pick of Patrick Mahomes higher than a half total passing yard. Yeah, I think he's going to get that.
I have a good feeling about that too. So go to the mobile app or to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JONANDJIM to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer.
Yeah, you must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Starting next Monday, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday with the inflation vacation. Listen for the nationwide keyword at the top of every hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Then enter it at sportssd.com. All starts next Monday at 6 a.m. Dan Zimborski from Fangraphs has been on the show a lot over the last 3 years. He'll join us at 4 p.m. We'll crunch the numbers with us. How good of a chance do the Padres have in the postseason? Darnay Tripp will join us coming up at 4:30.
It's hard to be like, okay, the triple play. I want to just talk about that all day long, but the moving on part, I mean, it has to happen because tonight's game is equally as important for your chances to win the NL West. And those are the goals of this team right now. I think if you ask anybody in that clubhouse, they're going to say, yeah, we want to go out there and win the NL West.
Yeah.
I just am sitting here like, do the triple play. Oh my God.
Yeah, like that's a great point because I think the triple play is going to be remembered here for forever, but it doesn't make your season.
No.
If you don't get the desired result in the postseason. Plus, it might not even make the series. If the Dodgers win the next 2 days, they're celebrating in front of you on Thursday night because they've got a division title if they win the next 2 days. So I hope, listen, for us, for fans, for media, I'll talk about this all day long until 6 p.m. I hope the Padres have turned the page. Like, they're in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
They're preparing for a game. They're 3 hours out. Dylan Cease, Jack Flaherty, like there's the hangover game. That's really costly tonight. Like if the Padres lose tonight and don't look like themselves, kiss the division goodbye. Division's over. They're not winning the division by not winning tonight. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. So I hope we see them play with that same level of like intensity, the way we've seen them play against the Dodgers this year, where they're 8-3, where they look like they have the upper hand. I hope that's the team we see here tonight because for as good as last night was, and it was great, tonight, to your point, I mean, you could argue it's more important because the division right now is within reach. You control your own destiny. Go finish this thing off.
And it can't happen tonight because the Braves and Mets game got rained out. But if that game did get played, the Padres could have clinched home field
in the wild
card round if they won tonight. And then Arizona and I think the Mets, if they both lost, then they would have clinched home field in the wild card round at minimum.
So, and that's not happening tomorrow either. They're not playing today or tomorrow, and they are already confirmed for Monday. So the games will be played.
But how does that work? Because what if the Mets like win 2 or 3 this weekend and the Braves lose 2 or 3? They're still playing a doubleheader?
They're still playing. They're playing 2 games on Monday to get to 162.
Man.
And they won't play today or tomorrow. They've already canceled tomorrow's game.
That's ridiculous. How do they not? I don't know, man.
It's not going to be great for potentially one or both. I mean, one could be in the postseason, 2 could be in the postseason, and they're playing 2 games the day before they're playing in the postseason.
And there's still a chance you can play the Mets in the first round.
Yeah, where they play 2 games and then travel across the country to play the next day.
So you'll be playing a extremely tired and exhausted Mets team that will be just coming off a doubleheader.
Yeah, per the bottom line at MLB Network says the games will be played on Monday, rescheduled for Monday. I'm looking at it right now. Major League Baseball announced today that scheduled games between the host Braves and visiting Mets have both been postponed Wednesday and Thursday. The games will be made up as part of a traditional doubleheader. Monday, September 30th in Atlanta, beginning at 1:10. The second game will be 40 minutes afterwards. Think about that.
That's ridiculous.
Think about that. One of those 2 teams, I would say, is likely to be coming to San Diego, or it's very possible, which also leads me to believe that the game Tuesday in San Diego, there's no way you're playing a doubleheader Monday in Atlanta and then playing at like 12:10 Pacific on Tuesday.
No chance.
So that game would be pushed back automatically to later in the day. That's something to at least consider in the days ahead, how that all shakes out logistically.
So they like the scenarios this weekend. If it first scenario is the Padres win the NL West and they have the week off and they start next Saturday here at Petco Park.
That'd be nice.
The other one is, the wild card round. They're gonna have it's not official yet, but they'll be here in the wild card round if they are there hosting 3 games.
100%.
And the scenario we've talked about, however this weekend goes will determine who you face. If you beat Arizona 2 out of 3, then you could most likely face the Mets, and if you lose 2-3 to the Arizona, then you face Arizona.
But do we want beleaguered Mets traveling across the country playing 2 games on Monday?
I think now it's much easier to say go and take at least minimum 2 or 3 from Arizona this weekend. If the division isn't possible anymore, like that's first, right?
Yeah.
If the division isn't possible anymore, you take 2 or 3 from Arizona, and then you end up facing the Mets, and then you're facing a really, really tired Mets team that got screwed because Atlanta sucks.
How motivated will the Padres be come Saturday, Sunday if they haven't won the division? As in, are you just completely thinking about setting everything up and aligning? Like, who are you even pitching Saturday and Sunday if the Dodgers have clinched the division by Friday? Which, again, I could envision a scenario where the Padres are tied or ahead come Friday in the division. But if they're not, what are you doing Saturday and Sunday? Like, I wouldn't be treating that like like everything's on the line, because it's not.
Martin Perez, come on down. Matt Waldron, come on down. Johnny Burrito, come on down. Randy Vasquez, come on down.
That's my point.
That's what will happen. But I don't think that will be the case. Maybe Sunday, but
it depends on what happens tonight.
Yeah, tonight's
you lose tonight, you're 3 back with 4 to play.
Right.
You win tonight, you're 1 back with 4 to play. So I say it hinges right now on tonight. Can we hear from Manny Machado? This was in the clubhouse post game. Let's get some more flavor from a celebratory night for the San Diego Padres with their captain, Manny Machado.
The job's not finished. We're going to enjoy tonight, enjoy this game, enjoy the celebration, but the job's not finished yet.
Third time you go into the postseason with the Padres. What do you love most about this Padre ball club, Manny?
It's just, we're family. We're family. And I think, Peter started this all. Peter started this all years ago, and here we are. We're doing it for him. And what an unbelievable family that we have here as a group, as a tight-knit, going above and beyond for each other, cheering for each other no matter what. It's just unbelievable, the group that we have here.
Good time, man. Enjoy the celebration.
How fitting was the triple play, man? You guys picked up Robert. You guys are picking people up all year.
That's what it's all about. We're going to pick up everyone all year. We told Robert in that mound visit even before, hey, we got you, man. Go out there, keep doing your thing. A few days ago when he gave it up as well, hey, we got your back, and that's what this team's all about. We got your back, man. At the end of the day, it's baseball, right? They're a good freaking ball club on the other side, so, we got to go out there and play better. And we did that tonight, and we're going to continue to do that. Woo! 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 Manín, pon la música mejor. Diablo, Manín. David!
Have you ever turned a big league triple play before that?
Yeah. Huh?
Have you ever turned a triple play in the bigs before that one?
Yeah, I have. Once before. I've been dying to do it for a couple years now, and didn't have the opportunity. That was the perfect play. We were going up there for the bunt, thinking he's going to bunt. He showed bunt the first play. Thinking he's going to bunt. He had a ground ball right at me, and instantly, hey, let's try to turn this, get us out.
Manny, from the outside, the expectations this year were a little bit different. Payroll got down, Oswald Soto. To you guys, how good does it feel to smash those expectations?
It's a good ball club here, man. We enjoy playing every single day. It's been a long season, ups and downs, and coming to the ballpark has been fun every single day. We lost some key guys in our team, and guys have stepped up big time. Peralta, Solano, our pitching staff. Our bullpen has came up clutch, Estrada. It's taken a whole effort of the whole organization to be where we're at today.
A team that Peter Seiler enjoyed beating more than the Dodgers. What would he say about this moment that you guys did?
I think he's been with us all year. He's been with us all year, and he's shining upon us right now. Smiling down, enjoying this moment, enjoying this victory with us, enjoying the celebration, and how much better in a tough spot there with Ohtani on the on-deck circle. We turn a triple play to end the game against one of the best teams in the baseball. He's looking up on us.
Manny Machado from the celebratory clubhouse at Dodger Stadium last night.
Everybody in that clubhouse feels that Peter's watching down on this team, and all these moments that are happening, they feel like they have a guardian angel in Peter watching over them. And that's why if there was any year in San Diego for a team to finally break through, win the first major championship in, the city's history, it would be this team.
True. Long way to go from last night.
Long way to go. I understand.
Very long way to go. All right,
Whole
on the
month.
other side, Dan Zimborski from Fangraphs. He will crunch the numbers for us. How good of a chance do the Padres have in the postseason? Darnay Trip at 4:30. Plus, we'll give away Green Day tickets in the 4 o'clock hour. Hour 2, Jon and Jim. It comes your way next.
This update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, after clinching a playoff spot last night, thanks to a triple play to end the game in the 9th inning. We'll take on the Dodgers tonight, game 2 of the series. They're just 2 games back of the Dodgers for the National League West. 7:10 first pitch. Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Dodgers against Dylan Cease for the Padres. And the Mets and Braves game today and tomorrow have been postponed. Because both those teams have a chance to make the postseason, there will be a doubleheader that is scheduled to be played on Monday. the day before the playoffs start on Tuesday. And this update has been brought to you by Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We've got those Green Day tickets we'll give away. We have Darnay Tripp from NBC 7 in 30 minutes, and we have Dan Zimborski from Fangraphs with us right now. Back with us on Jon and Jim in San Diego. Dan, I remember you saying something to us vividly. It was in the offseason. You said, despite all this, Dodgers have added Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez and Yamamoto. You're like, there's still not a lock to, it's still numerically possible for someone else to win this division. I think at the time you said there's probably a 10 or 15% chance someone other than the Dodgers wins the NL West. Now, they still could win the NL West. They're 2 games up with 5 to play. But is any part of you surprised with how tight this is right now in the final week of the regular season? And thanks for hopping on.
Well, it was certainly a possibility coming into the season. I actually, in the division, in the preseason, I had the Dodgers as only 49% to win the division because there are a lot of things that can go wrong for a baseball team. And I think people sometimes forget that for a great team and they over-remember it for a terrible team. And the Dodgers have had, a lot of pitching injuries. They always have pitcher injuries, but they've had a few too many to their liking this year. And that's given, the rest of the division a chance to kind of topple them. And obviously, when you look at the standings right now, you'd rather be 2 games up than 2 games down. But I mean, there's still a chance. It's that final week. Be able to get a quadruple play somehow to close that one out.
Right. I mean, what you deal with percentages all the time, and for that play to happen, that is just like the wildest ending to a game with the stakes that were at hand there. Could you ever imagine a game like that ending in that fashion to clinch a postseason berth for a team? And then it's against their rival, nonetheless, on the road at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it's hard because it's one of those plays that's fairly rare that you don't see every day. So you don't get a lot of opportunities to have that big moment, the triple play moment. Like I guess the others are like inside the park home run, maybe stealing home, things like that.
Yeah, like 4 strikeout innings. There's some bizarre things in baseball, but a triple play on a clinching day to finish a game is just remarkable. Dan Zimborski from Fangraphs with us right now on Jon and Jim. So I go back to, there was a tweet Jeff Passan sent out like a month ago. It's like, this is wide open. There's no historically good team. All these playoff teams are going to be within like 5 or 10 games of each other, which could create drama, obviously, in the postseason. So how do you feel? I guess, what do the numbers say about the Padres' postseason chances? We don't know if they're going to win the division or not. It's harder, in theory, coming out of the wild card than having a bye. But how do the Padres stack up in the National League heading into the postseason?
I mean, they're almost as strong as any other team out there because, as Jeff said, there's no juggernaut this year. The Phillies have a good shot too because of the games remaining, but we could theoretically have a season where nobody wins 95 games, which I don't think has happened in a while. Offhand, I don't remember because my memory is not as good as it was 20 years ago. But you have to like where the Padres are. They do have front end starting pitching who can go up against any matchup. You look at a team like the Cleveland Guardians; they don't really have that, but the Padres do. That's why the Dylan Cease pickup this year was such a big deal because they have that guy who can go up against anyone, and in a short series, that sometimes is the difference.
When you look at the matchups here, we don't obviously know what the Padres matchup will be in the first round. It could be next Saturday or it could be on Tuesday, most likely here at Petco Park. Who do you think gives them the toughest matchup to start the postseason right now?
Well, not knowing who it is, as poorly as they've played at times this year, I'd still really hate to face the Braves because the Braves, their depth issues aren't as big a deal in a short series. They can throw Chris Sale at you. They do have guys who can hit home runs, and any pitcher can be gotten to in the terms of home runs. That's how teams have gotten to Verlander in the playoffs. That's how teams have gotten to Kershaw in the playoffs. Everyone is susceptible to home runs, and that's one thing the Braves are still doing pretty well. They were second in the NL in runs scored, or at least they are as of now. So I'd hate to face the Braves. I'd probably like to face the Mets a little more because I don't think the Mets have those same picture matchups. And also the Mets are a franchise that always seems to be the recipient of tragedy. And so it's good to be on the other end of the Mets sometimes.
Dan Szymborski, it's a good point. Dan Szymborski with us right now, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. You crunch the numbers. You probably were looking at some projections from like a Jackson Merrill. It's probably all over the place to start the year. Highly touted prospect, but 20 years of age. He's switching positions. I mean, how remarkable is it what he's put up, considering the circumstances of starting your big league career as a 20-year-old in a new position, then you fast forward 6 months, and he's done this year?
Oh, it's a pretty big deal. I look at the projections, and they had him kind of as a league average player going into the season, which of course is good for a guy in his 20s with so little, high minors experience. But of course, he blew through all that this year. I can't say who I'm voting for since I am a rookie voter, but he's had a marvelous season, and I think it was good approach that the Padres took with him. I'm a believer that with minor leaguers, prospects, with your top prospects, you want to challenge them as much as possible. And I think that's what the Padres did with Merrill. They didn't say, okay, well, we'll put you in AA for 2 more months and then AAA. They gave him the opportunity to blow them away, and that's what he did. And I think these are the kinds of gambles you have to take. You have to gamble on your best young talent. That's how teams become winners in this way.
Yeah, and Jackson Merrill's hit in a big way here. So right now with the Padres, I think the biggest question with them is their closer spot. Robert Suarez has not looked good as of late, but we all know the moves that AJ Preller made at the deadline for 2 other guys that have closed games this year, and Jason Adam and Tanner Scott. Dan, when you look at the closer position with the Padres, who do you think is the best option there that they should go with into the postseason?
Well, Tanner Scott is my favorite, especially if it's against a lefty-heavy lineup. He's one of those guys that when he's not walking batters, he's almost unstoppable. Where he ran into problems, because if you look at his seasonal line, which is pretty terrific because his ERA was still like 1.5 something. He had some walk issues early, but he kind of ironed those out. He only walked 8 in 25, I think, innings with the Padres, dropped the walk rate in half from when he was with the Marlins. So I think he's the guy I'm most comfortable with. But I think that you almost have to play it by ear because having multiple closers gives you the opportunity to, in the late innings, shut down all those high leverage innings. Don't obsess over who is the closer, but getting those top relievers out into those high leverage innings. That's what the Nationals did some years ago with a much weaker bullpen. They didn't have the talent the Padres had, but they meticulously used them and rode them in the playoffs. And I think that's what the Padres could do with their top arms.
Great point.
Who's the American League favorite right now to get out of the American League to the World Series?
I hate to say it, but it's probably the Yankees, which annoys me. I'm from Baltimore, so this is a forbidden thing to say.
Right.
But the Yankees can ride their top couple starters. You have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, and no pitcher has shown this year that they can shut those guys down consistently. I think the Yankees, they will have the bye. So I think they're the favorite, and I'm very sad to say that.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice. I really can. I mean, I think Padres fans.
Traitorous.
Yeah, I think Padres fans would take a rematch of the 1998 World Series. Juan Soto was traded this offseason. There might be some intrigue,
couple storylines
locally and nationally. And to be honest with you, I think Padres fans would take a rematch of the 1984 World Series as well, of Padres and Tigers potentially. Just getting to the World Series, I think Padres fans would take. So, Dan, always appreciate your time. We're looking forward to October, and thanks for joining us here in San Diego.
Always fun, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, good stuff. I mean, honestly, 2 of the 6 American League teams are going to likely be the Tigers and the Yankees. The only 2 teams the Padres have ever played in the World Series are the Tigers and the Yankees. Padres have to get there. So with the Yankees and the Tigers.
One step at a time. I know I've jumped the gun here a little bit. I've jumped the gun for sure. But I've been doing that like for the last month and a half.
You put him in the postseason. You didn't put him in the World Series.
Still, you were like, whoa, bro.
Well, yeah, because I just don't want to. I don't want anything jinxed. I don't need that. That's what's in.
I'm not.
I don't need it. I just need to play it straight, one day at a time. Dylan Cease tonight. Get to this weekend.
I'm not saying that they are going to win the World Series. I'm just saying if there was any year for them to win the World Series, it would be this season.
This would be a good candidate.
This would be a very good year to do it because of all the storylines, how beloved this team is, how every single player has had a moment for this team, the overarching, fact that Peter Seidler is no longer with us and watching down over this team and how much he's influenced the way that they have played this year, truthfully. It all factors into why this team is not only special, which they are, but why it just feels like if there was any team, this is the one.
I'm getting greedy and I kind of want the bye, but I also know how scared I'll be on the other side of the bye. And I also know that as a home wildcard team, taking on a team that's playing a doubleheader the day before, potentially, that's got to be advantage Padres. But right now, with the way they're playing, with the division right there, go for it all. Go for the enchilada. Get the bye.
Just don't lose another game.
Just don't
win
lose
out.
Again.
Win
so
5 straight
easy.
here, and on a 10-game winning streak, going into the postseason, and then just win.
And then just
win out.
Win
11 games in a row.
12
games in a row.
Easy peasy.
It would be with a bye 3, 4, and 4, which would be 11. With a bye, without a bye, it would take 13 wins to win a World Series.
Just win
23 straight.
23 straight.
21 straight, whatever it would take.
Right.
All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. Darnay Triple join us at 4:30. He says he's kept receipts of something I said 10 months ago. So I'm excited to hear what that is coming up at 4:30. You said, how could they hire Mike Schild? You said, how could they trade one? So I've said the same thing everyone said. Darnay Triple join us at 4:30. We'll give away tickets to Green Day coming up this hour as well. It's Jon and Jim. Hey guys, it's Jon and Jim, and get to Jamul Casino this baseball postseason and this NFL season, especially every Monday night in September, because every Monday in September, you've got a chance to win big with Monday Night Live, $100,000 punch out.
Yeah, John, with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m., your odds, they're better than ever. Plus, you can earn entries all month long by playing and getting 2-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $100,000.
The best place to watch the baseball postseason, to watch the NFL, is Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. Also, Jamul has endless dining 5 nights a week. Make sure to check them out on the weekends. Their endless dining options include Saturday night surf and turf buffet. They've gone over the top with perfect combinations of succulent steaks and delectable seafood.
Yeah, the food's great. The vibe's great. Get to Jamul Casino all football season long, including every Monday night for Monday Night Live $100,000 punch out. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
Our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas was amazing. Check out all the photos, videos, and behind-the-scenes backstage content now at iHeartRadio.com/festival. Want to relive it? Stream it now only on Hulu. We'll give away those Green Day tickets coming up this hour. We also have Miramar Air Show tickets that we'll give away next hour. We also have Darnay Tripp from NBC7 joining us in 10 minutes, which means right now, let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
So who will win the NL West?
After all that, Dodgers easy.
Yeah, Dodgers. Come on. Like, I feel like if the Padres win tonight, they're winning it. Now, last night, it felt like the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they still got to win these next two games.
Yep.
And you win tonight, you got the upper hand. You're going in Thursday against Walker Buehler, who I don't think he's looked great for them. He's not the same. He's not the same Walker Buehler
from years ago.
Yeah. And Joe's been pitching lights out. It feels like at this point in time, we know how things can flip because it did in 2022 when the Dodgers owned the Padres in the regular season and then the Padres beat them in the postseason. I hope that's not the case this time around where the Padres have owned the Dodgers in the regular season and, Dodgers beat the Padres in the postseason. But I do feel like this team just has this a little maybe psychological edge over the Padres or like the mind, like just like the mentality of the Padres this year when they play the Dodgers is you don't scare us.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I'll bet on the Padres based on what I'm watching with my own two eyes in the second half of the season. Now, I know the Dodgers haven't been swept at home this year. I know that I'd rather be 2 up than 2 back. I do know that. But I know Dylan Cease is pitching tonight, and all the pressure has moved to the Dodgers. That's already happened. So all the pressure is on the Dodgers. Padres do not have anything to lose here this week at Dodger Stadium. I'll bet on the Padres. They bet on themselves, and they've won here in the second half. Hopefully it continues. Next question.
Is Saturday a must-win game for the Aztecs?
Saturday's a very big game for this Aztec football team. I think from just playing better standpoint, can they go out there and not have a million penalties? Can they go out there and move the ball on offense? Can they score a touchdown in the first half on offense? Can they look like they're getting better as a team instead of staying the same or regressing? Like the win, getting the win's great, but if they win the game 6-3, it's not going to feel like they're moving in the right direction to me. The right direction to me is cutting down on all these penalties, looking better on offense, having sustained drives on offense, scoring points. Like that to me is the most important thing this weekend other than picking up a win like 3-0.
The win, of course, is very important. If you're going to get to bowl eligibility, you could use a second win. There's a big difference between 2-2 and 1-3 on your way for 6 wins. But I would say this as well. I don't know if we know who they are because their 3 opponents are 2 power opponents and 1 FCS opponent. They haven't played anyone in the group of 5. Their next 9 games are against group of 5 opponents other than Washington State. So we haven't seen anyone from any of these G5 conferences. We'll see it this weekend against Central Michigan. Sean Lewis coached in the MAC for 5 years. I think it's going to be a really good game. San Diego State's +3 in this game, traveling across the country. But again, you've played Texas A&M Commerce. You should have beaten them. You've played Oregon State and Cal. They were heavy favorites or favorites in those games. I think this is going to be a very good game. It goes a long way towards bowl eligibility should San Diego State win it. Next question.
Who wins tomorrow's Thursday Night Football game against the Cowboys and Giants, which you can hear right here on San Diego Sports 760 after us at 5:15.
Our token football question of the day, just to get it in the show. I'm going to go Cowboys, as Chris Hodge said yesterday. Put all of it on the Cowboys to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys should absolutely win the game. They're 1-2. They should win big. It is Thursday night, which is weird.
They're like 8-2 in their last 10 against them. So.
If the Cowboys lose to the Giants on Thursday Night Football, they've got a massive problem on their hands. I think there's a better chance they win big than lose. So I think the Cowboys win big tomorrow at 5:15 right here on San Diego Sports 760. And next question.
Who you guys want on the mound for the Padres in the 9th inning with a chance to win the World Series?
It's not a starter.
That's not a starter. Has to be a reliever?
Yes, all non-starters.
Not a position player
relievers.
either.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is you don't have to have a reliever out there, right? But
there's a very good chance a reliever will be out.
But with the way their bullpen is, like there's been times in the past, like remember Madison Bumgarner year where he just dominated
5 innings.
They didn't have anybody in that bullpen that was better than him, right? So I think this bullpen, you have guys that you could deem are better in that situation over like a Dylan Cease coming out of the bullpen to close a game. Or
True. Plus, we don't know if Dylan Cease is starting that game.
Exactly. I'm going Tanner Scott.
It's funny because I thought you were going to say Jason Adam.
I was about to.
If you said Jason Adam, I would have said Tanner Scott. My only concern with Scott is we haven't necessarily seen it here, but his walks per 9 is high.
Dan Zaborski talked about
he's
it.
unhittable, which is great, but his walks are high. Jason Adam has just been unhittable as a Padre.
His whip is like
use that.
0.6.
I'll use that as a track record. The answer for me is not Robert Suarez today. Maybe that changes in October and the guy becomes elite like he has been previously. I would probably go Jason Adam. I could make a case for a Jeremiah Estrada or Tanner Scott. But right now, in this exact moment, I'm not opposed to Jason Adam being out there in the 9th inning with a World Series on the line. That'd be nice.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that right now.
Robert Suarez?
Unless Robert Suarez all of a sudden flipped that switch and became dominant again.
But is he even going to have the opportunity to flip that switch? Like, do you want to see him like work the problems out in the postseason? Oh, let's just throw him out there.
If he's not going to be this team's closer anymore, when are you going to use him? Because they're going to need Robert Suarez.
5th inning. I'm kidding. No, they're going to need him. They're going to need him. You're right. But it's a weird spot that they find themselves in because he has really struggled. I mean, time and time again, he's kind of come through, and then other times he hasn't. And
if this were like a video game and you didn't have to like deal with all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, truthfully, right at this moment, their best A team out of the bullpen, if you get what you got last night, say you get Michael King 5 innings or whoever in the postseason 5 innings, what are you going to do to cover the next 4? It seems like it's a Estrada. It could be Morahone or Hoeing, probably Morahone, and then Adam and Scott.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. It really will be. We'll talk to Darnay Tripp about it on the other side from NBC 7. Plus, this hour, your chance to win Green Day tickets for Saturday at Petco Park. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Dodgers game 2 tonight up at Dodger Stadium, 7:10 first pitch. Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Dodgers against Dylan Cease for the Padres. Padres are just 2 games back now with the Dodgers with 5 games to go. Other playoff scenarios tonight in baseball. The Mets or the Braves want to have an opportunity for any of that because their games tonight and tomorrow have been postponed, where they will play a double header that is scheduled for Monday, the day before the postseason starts on Tuesday. And this update's been brought to you by Staples.
All right, darn it, Trip, friend of the show. He's so excited for this moment because he sent us a text earlier today. Darn it, Trip, I miss he said. Okay, he says this. When you think of the receipt, you have to pull on Jon wow emoji and like stay tuned emoji. I don't even know what facial emoji it was. So we're like, what are you talking about? Like, tune in to Jon Jim at 4:30 to find out. So floor is yours. What did I say 10 months ago? I'm so excited to hear this. I'm so excited.
How have AJ Preller and Mike Schilt done this year, John?
John? John? Wait, was I questioning AJ Preller and Mike Schilt more than Jim?
No. I'm just asking you, how have they done, John?
How have AJ Preller and Mike Schilt done this year?
I love this.
A pluses.
And so how was the hire of Mike Schilt?
John? Have you listened to the show? John?
Just answer the question.
The hire of Mike Schilt is an A plus.
So they went with Preller's guy, right? And that ended up being a good thing.
100%.
Because I was on with you guys sometime during the offseason. We're trying to figure out what the Padres were going to do. AJ Preller was sticking around. Bob Melvin was on his way.
Yeah.
Did they make a hire over AJ Preller's head? Do you go in a Bob Melvin direction, somebody that's proven? And I said, you know what they should do after this season and all of the is it Bob, is it AJ? I said, hire AJ's guy so that it's clear and so that we know without a shadow of a doubt who deserves credit versus who deserves blame. So we're not in one of these situations where after every single Padres game, is it AJ, is it Bob? It's a cohesive vision. And John ripped into me. Wait, he went in again and again about how crazy it was that I would suggest that, you know what, at this point, if you're going to stick with AJ Preller, you might as well give him an AJ Preller guy just so that everybody's on board, there's no uncertainty, and we know what's going into this.
I give you and Jim a lot of credit. I know Jim was right there with you. And if you're suggesting I have an opinion that was wrong 10 months ago, I find it very hard to believe. Are you saying I was off? And my opinion on what they were doing 10 months ago may have been off? That's crazy.
I'm saying that it's not back in my mind as you've been praising Mike Schilt, as you've been praising AJ Preller. I'm like, you know what, John doesn't jump on my back very often, but he did on that day. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So this is how it's going to be. Obviously, don't agree with my assessment of the situation. Strongly disagree with my assessment of the situation. And just the idea that they should go all in on AJ Preller at this point. And as it turns out, I don't know.
So let me get this straight. I don't remember what I said. I need the audio.
It might have been an episode of Sports Wrap. Maybe that's why I remember it so vividly.
Sports Wrap. So I didn't say anything that was stupid enough for you to keep a receipt on.
No, it's the way you reacted to what I said, and you suggested that I thought that they should just hire a Preller guy was crazy.
Okay.
I'm glad John
was
me here, not me.
Listen, it's not like we called for AJ Preller to lose his job after 2023. Nobody on the show said that. Nobody said move on from Preller. Nobody said don't hire Jim. It's a tough business. I respect your opinion. That's what you're on every 2 weeks. I'm not always right with my opinion. You're right. I'm wrong.
And it happens so seldom. And again, it's not all you and I have gotten into it a little bit. and that was
It's
one of
happened a
those.
couple times, but it's only
I
in
do.
good
I do remember after the show, you were like, "You guys." You were
Yeah,
like,
that's happened a few times. I just
I
don't disagree. It's just an opinion.
was literally in the book like, why is John giving me such a hard time about it?
Well, anyway, they pulled it off a triple play last night, Darnay. They're going to the postseason. You feel great about this team, right? There's nothing to worry about, right?
Nothing at all. Especially in the ninth inning. I will say, like, did the Padres save Dodger fans from so much embarrassment last night? Because the place just emptied out, and they were one at bat away from like a potential Ohtani, Mookie Betts walk off to maybe in essence like lock up the division, and they would have done it just like from what you hear and what you see like to cricket. And so they kind of did Dodgers fans the favor by pulling off the really like unlikeliest ending to a game that maybe we've ever seen, which was incredible. And I certainly doesn't overshadow like it, and once we get to this point, whether it's tonight or tomorrow night, where you're getting into those late innings, I think the decision making is going to be pretty fascinating in terms of what they do because we all went from feeling really, really good about their chances to, okay, this is terrifying. It's all going to fall apart here to the greatest ending of a clinching game we've ever seen.
Yeah, it was again, and that's taking some of the attention off what's going on here with Robert Suarez. And maybe you have that conversation 24 hours from now when the postseason starts. Tony Tripp, NBC7 with us right now. I'm Jon and Jim, but like, yeah, they got a great bullpen. But on the other hand, what are they? We were just talking about this 5 minutes before you joined. Like, what do you even do with Robert Suarez if he isn't closing for you?
And it's also worth pointing out that he avoided getting to the top of the order. So it's not like he ran into his issues against Otani, Betts, Freeman, Smith, so on and so forth. It was about the order that he had some issues with, and that's a great question. Because, I mean, you could say, well, maybe it's not, top of the order, depending on the leverage, but that I don't know how much that really matters lately. It just seems like in these tight games, it doesn't seem like he hasn't been as reliable as he has been. And, you saw Schultz play matchups a bit last night with going to the lefty, kind of Scott, with Ohtani coming up, and that obviously worked out beautifully. And so maybe it's kind of a blend of, okay, what does the situation tell us? I would imagine he's 7th or 8th, if he's not 6th or 9th, and he's in one of those big late innings, and there's going to be situations where it's a tight game, it's close, and, as we know, sometimes the close comes in the 8th. So maybe if there's a situation like that where they feel like they're really in it, and they need to get out of it in the 8th, maybe you do see Suarez again in the 9th. I don't know. I don't know if any of us know, and as good as, we kind of hinted at it, as good as everything feels, there is that bit of uncertainty that has to be addressed and gives you a little bit of pause now going into like the next few games they're playing.
So, what is their chances you think here to win the division? Like, you feel confident that okay, they can pull this thing off, or are you still in your mindset of like, okay, it's still a pretty outside shot because the Dodgers can just win one of the next 2 games. You'd have to have a lot of things happen this weekend, and they're going to be playing tooth and hair peck with that. Like, did last night give you any like, oh my god?
I mean, I think you went into it thinking, okay, there's definitely a chance, given how well they played against the Dodgers this year. If they dropped that one last night, especially if they dropped it in that fashion, it seemed pretty deflating. And you're right, like one loss in LA doesn't necessarily solidify it, but you're having to bang a lot on the Rockies in the final week of the season, helping you out, which, I don't know if there's a whole lot of money on that. But just given the way they played, even the way that game played out, like you're so used to the Dodgers being the ones that play airtight defense, get the big hits, good pitching, good bullpen, and you're having to play like a perfect game to stick with them now. Obviously, Bogart had his error early on and Suarez struggled, but it seemed like the reverse of what we've seen for so many years, where Padres is the team that just seems to do everything right, incredible defensive playing, plays great everything, timely hits. And so the whole feel around it this season has been a bit different. We know that can change in a hurry, as we saw in 2022. But I don't know. I'm just kind of like enjoying the ride, which I highly recommend to everybody. Like, I feel like they got a shot at it. Why not? Why not believe? Why not get excited about it? Get optimistic, and if the worst case scenario is you drop one of three against LA, and you end up hosting next week wild card series, I think any of us would have signed up for that at the end of the season.
Final one for me is just like, do we collectively believe that something like bigger than the countries is going on right now with Tyler, which you've heard the team talk about a year ago, 9-23 in one games. This year, 22-18. A year ago, 2-12 in extras. This year, 10-2. Like, it's not like it was hard to explain last year when it was going so bad, and now it's hard to explain this year why it's going so good. Or, like, are we believing in something's at play here beyond something the Peter Silas play here that's helping this team win where they're winning?
It's hard not to buy into it a little bit, right? Especially when, the guys are talking so openly about it, and just his presence and the way they feel it. I mean, how could you not? And, when you get to this point in the season, when you hear all the time team of destiny, and it's to be determined whether the Padres are that team. And look, this could end up being a really, really fun, memorable, neat, special season without it resulting in a World Series. Obviously, World Series takes it over the top, and you're fulfilling Peter Siler's vision. And the baseball gods smiling down on them, and we would all love to see that. But I think that's also where you kind of just enjoy the ride, because there's been all these moments, and there is this, the bond amongst the team, their understanding of Peter Siler's impact, and now kind of their responsibility to pay that forward. But there is, just a different type of feeling around this club that's special, and I think I've felt it more now since last night than I really have at any point this season. And when you have something like that behind you and driving you, it certainly can't be a bad thing. And it's just it's exciting to see them playing the way they are at this stage, and then all of them having the understanding of who that man was, why he was so important, and why it would be so valuable to the city and to his legacy to a great season. That's what we have to do.
All right, I'm going to save this audio. I'm going to listen to it back 10 months from today. Just put my phone on mine. July 25th, 2025. You better be spot on with everything we talked about today. We're counting on that. Otherwise, I will call you out. We're going to have you on July 25th, 2025. I'm kidding.
Please call me out. Look, I appreciate you letting me dig into like the crack between the car seats in my car and find the old crumpled up receipt and bring it back to life. I quite enjoy it. Because I thought about this. I was like, you know what, I should mention this to John. When you reached out this morning, like what better time?
I appreciate you. I will say this real quick before you go. Me and Jim have these conversations all the time. I do not recall anything I've actually said in any show. The second the show is over, I do not recall saying it.
I got to black out.
Yeah, it's like, did I say? I mean, I sure I did, but I don't. It doesn't stick with me.
I plan on using it against you. I'm just like, hey, remember that?
Remember what? Yeah, I love it. Thanks, Darnay. We'll do it again in October, all right?
Appreciate it,
All right. Trip NBC7. He definitely got receipts. It's on you somehow.
I was like,
Wait,
shocked.
what?
Wait, I didn't.
John said that.
Did I question the Schilt hire, or did I just said let's roll with it? Because I've been pretty critical of Schilt for the first half of the season, like just nothing to do with on field stuff, but just like his post game remarks. You're like, Schilt, what are we doing here? But I guess I was on board with it.
No, you weren't. All right, call right now, 877-767-4760. First two callers will be contestants for trivia to win Green Day tickets for this Saturday night. You need to call right now if you want Green Day tickets. We have two of them for Saturday night. First two callers are contestants, 877-767-4760. Call right now. That's next. Saturday after a week off, and on the road to take on Central Michigan pregame with Ben Fletcher, Jared Tolbert begins at 10:30 a.m. The Enrich will have the call at 12:30 Pacific right here in the San Diego Sports 760. Of course, we'll get back to Padres Dodgers game 2. Dylan Cease, Jack Flaherty tonight coming up at 5 p.m. But right now, let's get to this.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Marcos and Alex. Marcos, you called in first, so you have your choice of Jon or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I'm going to go with Jim.
Wow, Marcos and Jim?
Marcos and Jim, Alex and Jon. Alex, you there?
I am, yeah. What's up, guys?
What up,
What's up,
man?
man?
All right. Brent, what is the question of the day?
All right, guys, today's question. Name the 6 seasons that the Padres have played in a division series in the postseason. So they've made it to the division series 6 times in the postseason. Name those years.
All right. Alex, you're up first. What is your first guess? You'd have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'm going to go with 1984.
1984.
No division series in 1984.
Just straight to the championship series. No wild card rounds, no division series. Right.
Okay, now I got it. I got the question. All
Marcos, back to you. First guess for you. What's your first guess? You have a lifeline if you want to use it.
1998.
1998.
That is correct.
That is correct, yeah. Alex, back to you. Second guess. You do have a lifeline if you want to use it. What do you got?
How about 2022?
2022 on the list. Marco, second guess for you. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
1996.
1996.
All right.
Alex, back to you. You need to have this to stay in the game. What is your final guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Yeah, I'll take that lifeline, Jim.
Where you? I'm the lifeline. Right?
Alex is Jon. So this is Alex, right?
Oh, yeah, Jon.
Okay, you got me. I'll give you 2020. They beat the Cardinals in the wild card, but they lost to the Dodgers in the division series. I'll give you 2020.
Yep, I'll take it.
Boom. All right. Marcos, you could win it with a walk-off here or a game-ending triple play. What is your final guess? And you do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
All right, Jim, give me your lifeline.
All right, 2006. You're welcome.
2006.
There you go.
Come on, Jim.
They played the St. Louis Cardinals, who went on to win the World Series that year.
The only other postseason season in the history of the franchise is 2005.
Yep.
And they were in the division series that year as well. So they've been in the post. Do we have that right? Is this their 8th trip to the postseason? They've been in it 7 times.
84, 96, 98, 05, 06, 2020, 2022, not 2024.
Is that 8?
2024,
7.
sorry.
7 until this year, right?
Yeah.
7 until this. So this is their 8th trip to the postseason since 1969.
Jeez.
And they've played in a division series 6 of the 7 years they've been in the postseason. They didn't in 84 because the division series didn't exist. All right. So congratulations to Marcos because you have won tickets to see Green Day. And this is Saturday at Petco Park. Green Day with the Smashing Pumpkins this Saturday at Petco Park. Great giveaway. For tickets and info, go to Ticketmaster.com. If you didn't win today, more chances to win those tickets tomorrow on Jon and Jim. In the 5 o'clock hour, we've got tickets to the Miramar Air Show to give away. Also, Rocktoberfest and Iron Maiden tickets.
Oh, must be nice.
So 3 great giveaways we'll have for you in the 5 o'clock hour. Plus, the Padres can inch to within a game of first place with a victory tonight. We'll get you ready. Dylan Cease, Jack Flaherty to kick off hour 3 of Jon and Jim next. All right, hey guys, it's Jon and Jim. We've been telling you about our friends over at Underdog. It is the best time of the year. NFL, college football, MLB postseason. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. And with Underdog, you can win 325 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats.
Yeah, John, head over to Underdog's simple to use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit this weekend. NFL, the gimme pick for Underdog is higher than a half total passing yard for Patrick Mahomes. That's going to hit.
Yeah, trust us. Take that. Go to the mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JONANDJIM to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer.
Must be 18 years or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms to apply. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. This update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Dodgers, game 2 of their 3-game series up at Dodger Stadium tonight, 7:10 first pitch. Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Dodgers. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Padres, of course, are just 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. Other playoff scenarios around baseball today. Well, the Mets and Braves, they don't play today because they got rained out. They also are going to get rained out tomorrow as well. And those both will be made up on Monday before the postseason starts next week. So there's no other scenarios that could happen tonight. Padres would need to win, and the Mets would need to lose, and the D-backs would have needed to lose for them to clinch home field at minimum in the wild card round. This update's been brought to you by Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. Padres are 2 hours out from game 2 of their series at Dodger Stadium. Venerable Dodger Stadium packed to the brim last night, right? Postseason's on the line. Dodgers are within a game or two of clinching the division. Oh, wait. The upper deck is half empty. By the time the 9th inning Dodger rally was occurring, the building was 30% filled. It just gives you more of an appreciation. I don't know what the Dodgers are going to do. They could win tonight. But it just gives you more of an appreciation for the way Padres fans have supported this team, not just this year, but in recent years. I mean, how many times have we been watching games at Petco Park where even the Padres are down in the first half of the year? 40,000 people, 45,000 people in the building. And last night, special, turning the page, Dylan Cease, Jack Flaherty. It's just as important. Again, I'm not going to say the season is summarized by winning the division. They could absolutely lose one of the next 2 games. It happens. It's baseball. Dodgers are good. That doesn't take away the possibility of them winning a World Series. It may make it more challenging. We'll see. But it just feels like it's there for the taking. If they take advantage, amazing. If they don't, I'm not going to be like, oh, here we go again. I mean, they still have an uphill battle. We can all agree on that. To win the division likely takes, I would say, 5 wins in their next 5 games.
I'm so glad you mentioned that Dodger Stadium was not full last night, even though they announced a sellout of 53,000.
They announced a sellout?
They announced a sellout of 53,000.
What about the seats that weren't sold? Those were also sold out?
When you look
the
at
empty ones,
the empty
left
ones in left and right.
And
then when you saw the stadium in the 8th inning, it was half full. Everyone left. Dodger fans left mid 8th inning there. And look, the books are always cooked for the Dodgers because they have the biggest stadium in baseball. So of course they're going to have the most fans, and they're a good team. So like, yeah, you're going to get 50-something thousand fans, but at the same time, like, give me a break. That was pretty pathetic last night. I
was surprised.
I was very surprised.
Yeah.
That crowd, low energy, it's just a sad crowd, to be honest with you. And I know they were trailing most of that game, but give me a break. Like, you guys have an opportunity to win a division here, and you're not even showing up. Like, it's a joke.
Top 2 draws this year in baseball are the LA Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. Those are the top. Now, percentage capacity, the Padres have been higher than the Dodgers because the Padres have basically sold every ticket all year long. And to your point, the Dodgers have a larger stadium. Now, the Dodgers could still win this division, yet their fans are freaking out. How do we know that their fans are freaking out? Well, A, we host a YouTube channel with the wrap-up show, and people are coming in and trolling last night as if the Dodgers
they're
won something.
so mad.
And then B, you've got what's going on up in Los Angeles with callers calling into stations like ESPN LA. And we're going to have that audio for you, I think, in a moment. But again, it's like, here's how I look at this. I think it's too early to go head over heels either way. I think it's too early to be like, one team's going to win the World Series. It's too early to be like, this season is over. Like, you got to be careful. This time of year, anything is a possibility. I saw 2022. Dodgers were better than the Padres. Padres beat the Dodgers in the postseason. 2023, nobody had the Diamondbacks beating the Dodgers in the divisional series. My point is, like, you got to be cautious with making really strong statements when you got all these teams that are basically the same team about to square off in the postseason.
Well, my bold statement is I stand by it 100%. Like,
well, you haven't made a bold statement like they're gonna.
Yeah, not the statement of like they're winning the World Series. I would never say that. I just feel as confident as I've ever felt covering a Padres team.
Sure,
over the last decade plus here. And I think a lot of people would say the same. I think a lot of people that have been watching Padres baseball longer than you and I would agree that this team in particular feels like the most complete team they've had, at least since 1998, going into a postseason run. So from that, the confidence level should be high. Like, no one's saying they're 100% going to win a World Series, but I think a lot of people are saying, and I would be the first one to say too, is feels like their best chance to win one. One of their best chances.
I would agree. I would just say, and we're going to hear caller Paul on ESPN LA in 1 second. But my point is, if I'm a fan right now, I want to be measured. And I'm talking about Padres fans and Dodgers fans. Here's my point. If the Padres don't win either tonight or tomorrow night, this is not the night to be like, wasted all the opportunity.
Yeah, no.
I just don't see it that way. I still think they're a great team that's had a great second half. If the Dodgers win tonight, I'll think, oh, we've won the division. We told you that the Padres are a little brother. you're getting way ahead of yourself. That's just my point, because I know this. With the upcoming American League and National League postseason, something in there is going to be shocking / surprising. I just know it.
I think if you're looking at the rest of this regular season, the division's still in play. If that does not happen, like you just said, it's not the end of the world, guys. Like, let's live in the moment. Let's realize that there's a lot of opportunity that's still in front of them, which they could still be 100% fine. You know, no one went into the season thinking they were winning the division anyway. But what I would like to see over the next 2 nights, if it's not going to be 2 straight wins, at least win one of the next 2, because what that does, it eliminates the opportunity for the Dodgers to celebrate the division against you.
Very good point. And keeps you alive. Mathematically.
But the things that I did not want to see heading into this series, one is the Dodgers celebrating against you for a National League West Division championship. I did not want to see a scenario where the Padres lost a game and the Dodgers won a game, yet the Padres still celebrate after because they clinch a postseason berth because of the other teams that lost or won or whatever scenarios. That checked off, didn't happen. That's great. Next one is, at minimum, take one of the next 2. Go for the sweep. That's the first goal. If you can't get that, win one of the next 2. Then you're not seeing those Dodgers celebrate against you, and that's great, because that's what I don't want to see. And truthfully, the best case scenario, the triple play scenario here, you win out, you win the division. Dodgers don't get to celebrate. They go into a wild card round.
They lose.
They never celebrate in this season. And
their biggest celebration is the offseason $700 million signing of Shohei Ohtani.
Exactly.
That's a nice scenario.
That's the triple play scenario right now.
Now that wouldn't suit Caller Paul well on
Paul's
ESPN
not
LA.
happy.
This was Caller Paul on ESPN LA this afternoon.
But my God, I can't handle last night, dude. Everything you said about the bullpen, can't agree more. But if there's ever a textbook time to sacrifice, it's last night. Any way you slice it, you come out in a situation where you're ahead. He lays down a bunt and he hits it, bunts into a double play. Okay, fine. Shohei comes up as a tying run. Dude, Suarez was on fumes last night. He was getting knocked around, and you've got Wandy freaking Peralta with an ERA of 4 warming up behind him
to pitch
with
to
3
Shohei.
MVPs.
Yeah,
with 3 MVPs lined up behind, ready to go. My God. Any way you slice it, he pops up the bunt to the catcher. Cool. I got 2 runners on. He bunts into a double play. Cool. I got Shohei coming up with a tying run. Heaven forbid he sacrifices and gets it over. We walk Shohei. Great. I get Mookie Betts with the bases loaded. Any way you freaking slice it, there's no gosh darn way. Oh, and by the way, if you want to get real cute with it, what you should have done was have Kiermaier come in, because the only darn thing that guy can do is bunt, and he's fast, and he's a left-handed batter.
That would have been a good
choice. Lay down the butt.
Yeah.
You lay down the bunt, you get your butt down to first base, and see what happens. And by the way, you already have Edman and Kike in there. You're in a position to move Edman to shortstop and Kiermaier to center. It's not that freaking hard. I'm beside myself.
What
dude,
is your
can tell.
If you were in the press, what would be your first question to Dave Roberts?
Well, look, they tried to press him last night about the bunt, right? And his response was,
"No, what would you ask
in that
him?"
Situation, I would have asked him about the bunt. The follow-up question is, though, he said, well, you can't bunt there because you're going to bunt into an out. Then I would have said, okay, can you explain to me what the definition of a sacrifice bunt is, Dave? Because the whole definition of a sacrifice is you're sacrificing a freaking out.
Caller Paul's mad.
Those calls give me life. They just are.
By the way, it's
so good.
Can I just say, I think it's a little bit of a dumb argument to be like, anything is better than grounding into a triple play. Yeah, everyone gets that. No manager in that spot is like, hey, Rojas, stay out of the triple play. I mean, and that's no manager. Nobody's thinking. The defense isn't thinking triple play. Yeah. The offense isn't thinking triple play. A triple play happened.
And when you look at how the triple play got turned, calling for the bunt there and him not getting it down caused Manny to move up to the grass to play that bunt. and gave him the opportunity to pull off that triple play. Because if Manny's playing for, I don't know, against the line or playing regular, I don't know, then
he wouldn't have turned a triple play.
He would not have turned a triple play. And maybe even if Rojas didn't put the bunt down first pitch, maybe Manny still plays there for the opportunity at triple play. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's like the truth is last night, the Dodgers were outplayed. Now, they nearly stole a game against Robert Suarez, and they've done it time and time again. Look at what they did 2 days ago. Left for dead against the Rockies, hit a pair of home runs in the ninth inning and win. So it's not like they're not capable. They are. They have a very good offense. But you can be blue in the face all you want about what happened there with the triple play. Padres outplayed the Dodgers last night. Fair and square. Padres didn't steal that game from LA. The opposite would have happened. If the Dodgers won that game, it would have been stolen from the Padres. Padres controlled that game for 8+ innings.
And you know what? They have outplayed the Dodgers
all year
long. They really have. They're so close here in the standings, close as the teams have been in well over a decade. I mean, you can make it. I mean, they've 100% outplayed them in the second half.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
a complete fact. And the Dodgers haven't had a stretch this year where they've ripped off like 30 of 35, like they usually do every single year, it seems like. So Dodger fans are they're feeling it right now. And I love it, but at the same time, it's also they're dangerous. They got Shohei and they have pieces on that team. You're like, oh gosh,
yeah,
the lineup's really good, but I don't feel the same vibe and energy for the Dodgers team as I feel for the Padres.
Sure. I think that's fair. I think it's completely fair. I mean, the point is, has the script flipped from 2022? Hopefully not fully, if that makes sense. Like 2022, Dodgers had the momentum. They won the season series, but then they got beat in the postseason. So it's like, yeah, I'm with you. I think all the momentum favors San Diego. Now you might have to go do it in the postseason and prove it again. Like you've already proven it. You're better than them right now. You've outplayed them in the regular season, and you're playing better in the second half. So those are both factual statements. The issue with baseball is like you got to go prove it time and time again. And they may have to go prove it in a best of, 5 or 7 game series, which again, I'm not overly scared with, but I just know the dynamics of baseball. It's not going to be easy.
Not going to be easy. This whole next month, Padres fans, is going to be the most stressful time of your life as a sports fan. It really is. I mean, every single pitch from here on out, and except if they ended up like losing out in the division and then Sunday or Saturday don't matter or whatever, right? If one of these next 5 games don't matter, that will be the only game that will be non-stressful for the rest of the year, however long this team plays for, whether it be 3 games in the wild card round, which we all don't want to see happen, or it could be up until, as Michael King said yesterday, they want to be pitching on Halloween.
Right.
It could be that long. And you know what? Every single pitch, every single out, every single move, every single anything, you're going to be stressed the F out.
Here's proof on the other side that the job isn't finished for the San Diego Padres. I'll share with it coming up next. I'll share that with you coming up next. Plus, Dylan Cease, Jack Flaherty coming up at 7:10. We have Jim's back page. We have giveaways for you this hour as well. In fact, if you want to call right now, we'll give away Iron Maiden tickets for October 4th. First caller is going to see Iron Maiden on October 4th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, 877-767-4760. Proof that the job isn't finished for the Padres coming up next. First caller to 877-767-4760 is going to see Iron Maiden on October 4th. It's Jon and Jim. All right, Pete, let's do. We'll give away tickets to the Miramar Air Show within the next 10 minutes. Also, San Diego Sports 760 has a busy week of football starting with the Cowboys traveling to New York to take on the Giants. Thursday night football 5:15. Saturday, the Aztecs on the road for a matchup against Central Michigan. Pregame at 10:30 a.m. Kickoff at 12:30. Finally, Sunday, NFL doubleheader beginning at 10 a.m. Bears Rams 9:00 Raiders at 1:25. So they said job's not finished. Said that last night,
Job's not finished.
Job's not finished. Then they followed up. Dylan Cease, if you're wondering, like I think we said this last night. We didn't have more than the. He was asked specifically, "Did you drink anything last night?" He said nothing. If I wasn't pitching the next couple of days, I would have, but I want to win Wednesday. So, I mean, there's that party celebration hangover effect that's always for a night like last night. But then the other part of you is like, you see quotes from Jackson Merrill, who's like, we need to play the same way tonight that we played last night. So there's the 21-year-old saying that. You have Dylan Cease pitching tonight. He didn't drink an ounce an evening ago in that celebration. So I think it would be cliche if you're just like, oh, yeah, we wanted as much as we wanted it yesterday, and half the time they don't. No, they actually do want it tonight because they understand that they've come this far. You didn't come this far just to come this far, so hopefully they can finish it off.
I think they're locked in. I know Marty earlier today was like, that was the craziest clubhouse I've ever seen or ever been a part of or ever been in. And it looked wild. I mean, they were just trashing the place as they should. I mean, that Dodger Stadium is old. Have you been in the visiting clubhouse?
Never. Believe it or not, never.
Really? It's small. It's not great. I mean, it's like most visiting clubhouses in baseball. They're small. It's fine, whatever. But Dodger Stadium especially, it's like, it's not great. And it's so far away from the field. You got to walk up like this. It's like tunnel. And it's not right next to the field like it is at Petco. Where Petco, you just walk down the stairs, you walk up, you're in the dugout, boom, you're on the field. That's not Dodger Stadium. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they partied last night for sure and also had that in mind of job is not finished. Like, we're going to celebrate this. But we're going to, hopefully they had the liquid IVs, drank a lot of water. Jeremiah Estrada in an interview was like, I don't drink, so I'm good.
Right.
Guys like Nicky and Wade.
Oh, those guys can do whatever they want.
And Lockridge. Like,
guys don't play. They
can get loaded, right? But I feel confident that they had their fun while also knowing that the job is not finished. I think it would be different if it was here in San Diego because they would just all disperse to their own places. Here in this situation up in LA, they're all staying at the team hotel.
Yep.
So they have to take the buses back to the team hotel and they're all together. I mean, I'm sure maybe they went out afterwards, probably. I don't know. And it's LA. So I just think that they just understand the assignment and they know what's in front of them and they can eat their cake and have it too, right? Is that the saying?
Yes, eat their cake and have it too.
Where they can party and they can also stay
have
focused.
Their cake and eat it
have
too.
their cake and eat it too.
We'll find out tonight. I mean,
the
Dodgers are a favorite tonight.
Okay.
The Dodgers were a favorite last night.
It's fine.
They're 51-28, 51-29, something like that at home this year. They're minus 135. I mean, that's pretty crazy. With Dylan Cease on the mound, Dodgers are minus 135. Jack Flaherty's been really good. Man, it's exciting because, again, if you win tonight, there's that feeling of inevitability going into Thursday. Like, come Thursday, if you win tonight, then you got all the motivation in the world at that point if you're the Padres. So, like, this is the game for the Dodgers that I think if you don't win tonight, you're in trouble tomorrow. I mean, if you let this get any closer, they've already asked for trouble. They left the Padres in this race, so they've already asked for trouble. But I think that if they don't get tonight, they're asking for more trouble come tomorrow, would be my guess.
And they've left the door open.
Yeah.
Dave Roberts yesterday said pregame, we want to put them to bed. Okay. I look at the Padres as almost like an equal to the Dodgers as far as this season goes with their roster and who they have and how they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
From that standpoint, like, you leave the door open for like a team that's equally as good as you. You better be prepared to have things spiral for you if you don't like finish it off. So the first domino has fallen, which was last night in a dramatic dramatic fashion.
Sure.
And in in baseball, the term of you're only as good as your starting pitcher next day. Well, Dylan Cease and Joe Musgrove in this series going up against Flaherty, who's been really good, and then Buehler, which has not been good. Hopefully those things stand true, and you're only as good as your starting pitcher the next day. It's Dylan Cease and Joe Musgrove. I'll take my chances with those two guys like any day of the week.
Can't ask for more than this. Two back with 5 to play, 2 games against the team in front of you, and you have the tiebreaker. I'll sign up for that every single season from here on out. All right, call right now if you want tickets to the Miramar Air Show. Caller 5, you're going to go. 877-767-4760. Miramar Air Show Grandstand tickets, September 29th. 2 free tickets. Admission and parking free. The number to call is 877-767-4760. Experience the Wall of Fire, the F-22 Raptor demo team, and the Blue Angels Plus status displays featuring military and civilian aircraft. Preferred seating and show details at MiramarAirshow.com. Caller 5, you have 2 free tickets to September 29th. 2 grandstand tickets, 877-767-4760. Call right now. We've got Rocktoberfest tickets to give away. We're getting you ready for Padres Dodgers. Jim's back page still ahead. It's Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer for our friends over at Loan Pronto. We have great news for homeowners. Mortgage rates, they are tanking. My friends at Loan Pronto have rates that start with a 4. This is the best rate in years. Listen, if your current rate's over 6%, you can dump it, lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto has locked in folks recently at 4.99%. They've locked in folks at 4.59% APR. And whether you got stuck with your loan within the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, even within the last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can skip not just your next house payment, but your next 2. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Here's the number, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This update's brought to you by Staples, Padres, and Dodgers. Game 2 of their 3-game series. 7-10 first pitch. Padres, they're just 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West with 5 games to play. Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Dodgers against Dylan Cease for the Padres. Mets and Braves game got postponed today and also likely tomorrow, where they'll play a doubleheader on Monday before the postseason begins. Obviously, both of those teams are trying to make the postseason. D-backs play later tonight against the Giants, 6:40 there. Padres, they're looking for bigger things. They're 2 games back of the National League West, and they're up. This update's been brought to you by Staples.
All right, we've got Oktoberfest tickets to give away. This will be October 12th at the Brigham Front Arena. We're coming up in 10 minutes or so. Page still ahead. We're 90 minutes out from Padres Dodgers game 2. 7:10 is the first pitch time at Dodger Stadium. If you're wondering, well, how on earth have they announced back-to-back rainouts, by the way, in that series you've been talking about in Atlanta? Oh, it's because of the hurricane. So there is a hurricane that is going to cause all kinds of issues everywhere. College football, Major League Baseball. So they're forecasting ahead. It's like you don't want to get cute and be like, hey, can we play through it? They're not playing through a hurricane. So they're not playing today. They're not playing tomorrow. It's the most interesting thing. Like the game within the game is like, logistically, how's that going to work? One of those teams is going to the postseason. At a minimum, one of those teams is going to a postseason. One of those teams is likely traveling. I mean, where are they going? They're going to maybe Milwaukee. They're maybe going to San Diego. They're playing 2 games. Imagine the bullpens coming out of that. Now, maybe one of those teams rolls over if they clinch before then, but that is not ideal. 1 game on Monday, okay. 2 games on Monday, that's like unprecedented.
So the Mets play Milwaukee this weekend.
So then they go from Milwaukee to Atlanta.
And then they could probably go back to Milwaukee, depending on how things go.
Or they go to San Diego.
Or they come to San Diego.
And Atlanta, they are home this weekend after these back-to-back rainouts, or no?
Atlanta is... Hold on, let me just pull this up here. Why is it not working? Atlanta, they are home versus the Royals.
Okay, so Atlanta's at home. But yeah, I mean, think about that from the Mets perspective. You go, listen to this: Sunday, Milwaukee, Monday, Atlanta, Tuesday, San Diego. That's realistic.
I would be pissed if I was both of those teams.
What can you do? Give them an extra day?
You can't move stuff
Yeah,
back.
you can't really move it. I don't know what you do.
Well, here's the thing that I think I would be upset about is the Braves didn't play Monday, right?
Nobody plays Monday.
And the Mets, no. I'm talking about this past Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So both of those teams did not play on Monday. You telling me that you didn't know there was going to be a hurricane that upcoming week on yesterday or 2 days ago?
What would they have done if they knew there was a hurricane?
You move games up. You have a doubleheader yesterday and you play a game on Monday.
You can't do that.
Why not?
You don't know Monday what the forecast is Thursday.
You're probably right.
You know what I mean?
I'm just going off of the history of how horrible the Braves weather people are. And we've experienced that with the Padres, how they've had rainouts when there wasn't rain. And then they played when rain started, and Atlanta, especially, it just feels like, anyway, moral of the story, it's great to live in San Diego.
Well, it's great to potentially be the Padres in this scenario. The most likely scenario remains the scenario from a week ago, which is the Padres hosting a wild card series. Now, you hope they win their next 5 games or 4 of their next 5 and maybe win the division. That's amazing. Then you're off for 4 or 5 days. You're setting up your rotation. You're starting the postseason at home in the division series. But if that doesn't happen, you're hosting a series on Tuesday, a 3-game series at Petco Park. You want to have more of an advantage? Oh, how about the opponent you're playing played 18 innings the day before, 3,000 miles away?
And they were playing like for a postseason spot. So this wasn't like just get through the game.
Now, again, could it still be Arizona that you're facing? This is all going to play out over like Sunday, Monday. Like, I don't know if any of this is determined before Sunday or Monday. We thought we would be doing a wrap-up show Sunday and be like, here's who the Padres are playing in the postseason, and here's what time the game is. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the regular season on Sunday, you know the wild card games.
Yeah.
Now, maybe the Padres get the bye, but we tell you, okay, they have the bye. But if they're the wild card, you sit there Sunday night and be like, hey, the Padres are playing the postseason at 4:10 Pacific against the Atlanta Braves. We can't even say that Sunday, potentially, because there's still 2 games to be played between the Braves and the Mets.
It's a disaster for baseball.
It really is.
Disaster. And I know that you can't do anything about it, but it kind of feels like a little bit of a bad look to have this happen to a playoff team where your only scenario and only thing you could do is have both these teams play a doubleheader the day before the postseason starts.
Here's the one thing I would do. As opposed to do the Monday, if they rained out today and tomorrow, I'm moving them for Thursday's game somewhere. I'm getting them on a plane today, and I'm playing in a dome Thursday. They'll play the 2 games Thursday. They can play in Milwaukee. Where's dome? I can play in Florida. I'm in Atlanta. I'm an hour flight or less from Tampa and Miami. I don't know if they're both home. That's a factor. But they're an hour flight from a dome.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't know where it is, but you get my point. They can go somewhere within an hour, 90 minutes, get to a dome and play 2 games on Thursday. That's the right thing to do. To play it Monday,
it's like setting up for imminent failure for both of these teams.
If one of them, Monday?
I know. What if
there's extra inning game? I mean, yeah,
one of these teams is going to make the postseason, and
or are they both off Thursday? No, yeah, because they're playing each other.
Yeah, and so whoever makes the postseason, it just feels like that's an automatic loss the next day against whoever they face. So it feels like not only are we screwed playing on a Monday at doubleheader, but it already feels like we're down 1-0 in the wild card round.
Maybe, and
without
we
even
keep
playing
saying,
a game.
We keep saying, we even had Dan Zimborski. He's like, listen, the Braves are beaten up in a short series that shouldn't really impact them, and they have Chris Sale. But the thing I would argue there, and I don't know what the rotation looks like, is if the Braves need a win to get into the postseason on Monday, Chris Sale's pitching.
Sale was supposed to pitch today.
Right, so he's lining up now.
It was supposed to be Sale today and Fried tomorrow.
So now you can't pitch Sale until Friday because you're not playing until Friday.
And you're not.
Is he going to pitch Friday, Monday?
That's the tough thing is like, so Sale was supposed to pitch today. That would line him up to pitch game 1 of the wild card round. If I'm right on that. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd be ready to go with an extra day of rest. Game 1 of the wild card round if Atlanta were to make it.
But now Friday he'd be on short rest. It'd be Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. He's not pitching 3 days rest. Now he's not even eligible.
Yeah.
We think until game 2 of the series.
It's a disaster. It's not a good look for baseball. It's screwing these 2 teams because of the scheduling and the fact that they couldn't make up this game. They couldn't figure out a way to get these games in, like you said. It's a great point. You got
just move the games.
You can't put these teams behind the 8 ball. Now, granted, if one of them faces the Padres, go right ahead. I don't care. But
I wonder if Atlanta wouldn't want to move the games.
Just as an objective standpoint, why wouldn't you move the games?
I think if you're Atlanta, you wouldn't want to move them.
Why?
A, money. 2 games in that ballpark on a Monday, you're drawing 30,000 plus both games.
And they might not even make the postseason, so they need that.
Well, not just that. And B, that's the advantage to get you to the postseason. You want to play in front of 30,000 Braves fans, or you want to play in front of no one at Miami, whatever the hell it's called.
Good point.
That's my guess. If that was posed to Atlanta, I bet Atlanta's like, no. We'd rather play at home in front of our fans on Monday than neutral this thing on Thursday in front of no one in Miami. I wonder if that was a factor as well. But yeah, it's not ideal. I think it works out fine for the Padres.
Works out beautifully.
If you win the division, great. If you don't win the division and get either Atlanta or New York, I'm on board with that right now because of this doubleheader.
Just another thing that has gone the Padres' way that is like out of people's control a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like little thing this year. They didn't face Paul Skeens one time.
That's right.
You know, like they've missed some pitching. They've had some luck. You need some luck. You honestly, you do.
Yeah, definitely.
I think last night's triple play, while it was an incredible play by Manny Machado, you needed a little luck there. And the luck part was that Rojas didn't get the bunt down his first try. And then that caused the triple play to happen. Like, you know, everything happens for a reason. And that's what I believe. And in this scenario, with the weather being what it is in Atlanta, moving these two games to a doubleheader Monday, if the Padres were to get just in the wild card and they're going to get home field and play at Petco, you know how much of an advantage that is for them?
It's a big advantage.
To be playing a team with a depleted bullpen, a tired-ass team that just played 18 innings and has to travel that night?
here's the other thing. If you do get so fortunate as to win the division, you are likely the 2 seed. Why do I say that? Well, the Phillies right now have 2.5 more wins than you. They have 2 and they're winning tonight. So they're going to have 3. They're up by 4 runs tonight. So you're likely the 2 seed. Even winning out, the Phillies have 3 more wins than you right now. I like the 2 seed. I arguably like it more than the 1 seed. Why? Because the 2 seed goes through the 3-6 winner. And the 1 seed goes through the 4-5 winner. And you know who's in the 4-5? And again, you could say they've played them really well, but the LA Dodgers in that scenario are in the 4-5. And in the 3-6 are the Milwaukee Brewers. So you're starting your postseason as a 2 seed, if that happens, potentially against Milwaukee at home. That's a best of 5 series, but with home field against Milwaukee. Yes, you don't have home field in the 1-2 National League Championship Series, right? Maybe you're going to Philadelphia or whatever, or LA. Well, you'd be home against LA. But I like, again, in this perfect dream scenario where you win 4 of the next 5 games or 5 of the next 5 games, you're likely the 2 seed. And I don't have any problem with the 2 seed, truthfully, right now.
No, I don't either. I mean, there's teams that do scare me. Phillies, Mets, not much anymore because of like their situation they're in. And if you don't see Chris Sale in game 1 of the wild card round, if you get there, I'm perfectly fine with that.
That too.
I look at it as, I keep saying it, the Padres, to me, if I'm any other team in baseball in the National League, I'm scared out of my mind to play them whenever I do.
Call right now if you want tickets to Rocktoberfest, Saturday, October 12th at the brand new Front Wave Arena. Seether, Giovanni, and the Hired Guns, The Warning, Tim Montana. Saturday, October 12th, brand new Front Wave Arena in Oceanside. Tickets on sale now, starting at just $39. Go to AXS.com. First caller to 877-767-4760 is going. Again, 877-767-4760. You're going. Jim's back page next.
All right, John bailed. I know he's not listening because he just sent me a picture of a UNLV podcast that he will be listening to instead of the show. He is so entrenched in college football realignment right now. It's all he cares about, other than the Padres and their success, and other than the Aztecs, obviously football, because he's the voice of the Aztecs now. But hi, John. I know you're not listening. You suck. Anyway, we're about an hour out. No, sorry, a little over than that. I hate 7:10 start times, by the way. I hate it. I'm just so programmed to 6:40 because 6:40 was a godsend when they changed it. 7:10 starts. Like, remember the 7:15 starts, Brent?
Yeah.
Those things, and then without a pitch clock, things would like literally go until like 11:30 at night.
I know that didn't bother me though. I don't have kids or anything, so I don't really care.
Well, it bothered me, Brent, because I had to work afterwards. That's the only reason why. But hey, 7:10, whatever. I mean, if last night didn't bother me at all because of how great the game was, the ending didn't matter what time it was. I think I was up till like 1 a.m. I couldn't sleep afterwards. That's how like excited I was. And there's not going to be a lot of sleep that will be had this next coming month, hopefully, because that would mean the Padres will have made a run. All right. John's gone. He sucks. Brent, let's get to it. All right, we got a crumble cookie story, Brent, on the back page. Today only, Crumble Cookies is selling a 6-pack for the price of 4.
Okay.
So I would take advantage of that right now. Crumble Cookies aren't cheap. And
because they're huge.
They're massive. You get a 6-pack for the price of 4. I'm taking advantage of that. So today only, you can go to Crumble Cookie and you can get a 6-pack of Crumble Cookies for the price of 4. Honestly, Brent, I think I might do that after work.
There you go.
I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to surprise Erin and be like, "Hey, look, I got Crumble Cookies." And then she'll be like, "Why did you get Crumble Cookies?" Because now we're going to eat them all and I'm going to hate myself and but they're delicious. So.
That is typically what you would do with them.
I know, but
I don't know what else you'd do if you buy cookies. You're going to eat them.
But like eat them all in one sitting. Then your stomach hurts and you're like, "Oh, why'd I do that?" But it tasted so good in the moment. You don't get that?
Well, yeah, I'm chubby. You guys are skinny. You guys have more willpower than me. You should be fine.
Chick-fil-A has,
and you don't have the added dietary supplement that I take that makes me hungry.
That is also true. Even though Erin takes that dietary supplement before she goes to bed.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, Chick-fil-A has 2 new limited menu items that you can create a whole menu for some fun customizations. A limited time menu with new customizations. Here they are. You can get a new spicy filet with honey, pepper, pimento chicken. I guess the honey, pepper, pimento.
Yeah.
So you can make 3 different types of sandwiches. You can make a new spicy filet with the honey, pepper, pimento, an original filet with honey, pepper, pimento. Say that 3 times fast. And a new grilled filet with honey, peppermint, pimento for a limited time only. So there you go. I'm not a big pimento guy.
I'm not either.
But if you like the pimento, you can go get a couple new combinations at Chick-fil-A. So there you go. I saw this story last night and it made me really excited because usually I'm not a big fan of like the weird drinks. Like they came out with the Coca-Cola Oreo.
Oh yeah, I saw that
recently. And I'm like, I'm not a big fan of that. I love Shirley Temples.
Of course you do.
Because I'm a child. And I mean, they just bring me right back to childhood. Like Shirley Temple, Sprite, and the grenadine. Like, oh, so good. So good.
Have you ever had a Shirley Temple with alcohol in it? I guess it won't be a Shirley Temple anymore, but you know what I mean.
It'd be a mocktail with alcohol in it. So, no, I have not. Probably pretty good. But 7-Up, Brent, is bringing the holiday spirit to life with new Shirley Temple sodas coming for the holidays. Arriving at the holiday season, So it's already made for you. The 7-Up Shirley Temple with pomegranate and cherry soda. Sign me up. Sign me up. I'm on board for the 7-Up Shirley Temple. There we go.
I'm not a big 7-Up person. I'm one of those people, unless I'm sick, which I'm never sick. That's well, I don't need
you jinxed it.
No, I have immunity like crazy. That's the only time I can drink 7-Up is if I'm sick. Otherwise, if somebody hands me 7-Up, I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Like 7-Up and saltine crackers with like chicken
noodle
soup.
I could eat saltines on their own.
Saltine crackers are delicious.
7-Up.
And finally, there is a new exhibit at the Comic-Con Museum, The Myth of Superheroes. A new exhibit at the Comic-Con Museum aims to explore the connections between ancient mythology and present-day superheroes, from the physical agility of the Amazons and Wonder Woman to the speed and the gods of Mercury and Flash. The Myth of Superheroes features over 400 objects meant to replicate anthologic statues and busts of the ancient gods from the Roman and Greek mythology. Go check that out now at the Comic-Con Museum at Balboa Park.
Yeah, I was going to say something about that. They had a media day. I think it already came, though. They sent me a thing for it. I was going to mention.
Why didn't you
go? Because it was in the morning and because of Peanut, and I've had to come in early. And I think it was when I was training Sammy still, so I wouldn't have had time because I think the media thing was in the morning or at noon, something like that.
Got it. Okay. Well,
but there's a lot of cool stuff they got down there from the press email I was reading. They got a bunch of like authentic movie posters and props and stuff like that. So I might go down, check it out one weekend. We don't have nothing else going on.
Yeah, the Comic-Con Museum's a great place to go to. We went a couple years ago, and they do a really good job there. All right, Dodgers and Padres, 7-10 tonight. It is now turned into the biggest game of the year. Obviously, last night was the biggest game of the regular season. Now tonight's the biggest game of the regular season. Like, all the pressure's on the Dodgers. You win tonight. Tomorrow, I mean, it just feels like all hands on deck for the Dodgers to at least get one win and be 2 up with 3 to play. Because going into a weekend where you're tied, I know they play the Rockies in Colorado, but like, Colorado's a weird place. Some crazy things could happen. I don't know if Charlie Blackmon's playing this weekend. I hope he is. Maybe he can help out the Padres because he's been such a Padre killer for his entire career. And Arizona's kind of reeling. I mean, they got blown out the last 2 nights against the Giants. So, I mean, maybe Arizona has cooled off. I think they have for sure. And it just, tonight is so important for your chances to win a National League West. And you have nobody better on the mound than Dylan Cease. Like, you wouldn't want anybody else on the mound right now. He's your game 1 starter in the postseason. He is. And he's been pitching great of late. He's been pitching like the ace that we have seen throughout this season. It hasn't been a consistent for Dylan Cease to pitch this way, but when he gets on a heater, like, he's on a heater. And right now he's on one. Those last 2 starts have been fantastic. And if he can ride this through tonight and into a postseason, I mean, that right there is just the best thing you could ask for. But tonight is if you have hopes and dreams of winning the division, you got to win tonight. You just have to.
We kind of talked about the Padres, if they're going to have, the metaphorical hangover and the literal one today. Right. But I'm kind of thinking, are the Dodgers still going to be kind of in shell shock over
like
just the way everything went down last night? Because, coming from a Dodgers point of view, you're like, oh, like the announcers, you got Shohei's coming up, it's just going to be a matter of how many guys are going to be on base for him to knock in. And then all of a sudden, with one swing of the bat, it's just over.
I don't think so, because it's not like they were up by big and then they lost late. Like, I think for them, it's a move on type of situation. Like, the way it ended was crazy. I don't think there's going to be any effect there. As motivated as ever tonight to go out and try to win, because tonight, tomorrow is going to be very, very, very stressful for the Dodgers. All right, Padres Dodgers tonight. We'll have a wrap-up show for you on YouTube